Hello, 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 and welcome to the Off the Rails podcast. It's Travis and
That'd be Mitch.
we're here today. We're back. We've been gone for a little bit, so it feels kind of weird to be back in the seat.
We have, yeah. I wonder if we can remember how to do this or not.
Well, we never really figured out how to do it to start off with, so I'm sure we can pick it up where we left off.
Yep.
Yeah, we took a week off for Easter, and it's kind of I'm sad that we took the week off, to be honest with you. I mean, because I traveled, so there was really no way to do it. But I really missed it. I really
did
missed
too.
that time.
I remember.
But go ahead.
I was going to say I just remember it being Sunday, and now my brain is like getting into this. On Sundays you record. Sunday evening, Sunday afternoon, and it was like I'd just seen you.
Well, I was going to say that was the good thing is that we actually got to see each other over Easter holiday, which was a super blast. We got to see the family and get everybody together and say hey. And
yep,
you and Kim saw each other for the first time in 22 years, probably. I don't know how long.
Yeah.
How long do you think it's been since y'all seen each other?
I don't remember the last time we've seen each other. I don't know how long it's been.
She told me, but I don't remember what she said.
It's been a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And got to see Tammy and got to see the kiddos and possibly going to have to kill one of your kiddos. We'll see how that goes.
Speaking of which,
blood. You see where I'm thinking? Yeah. I didn't know we were going to bud a relationship when we went down there, but we had two 15-year-olds decide they want to exchange phone numbers with each other. So, oh boy.
And let me tell you something. And for those of you, I don't know, I'm just going to go ahead and say it. Thomas is, we're looking at getting Thomas to edit. Hold
on, I got something for him. Here you go. You ready?
Yeah.
Uh-oh, hold on. I wasn't ready. Ready?
Yeah.
Tommy Turner. Welcome, producer Tommy.
Yeah,
he's in the background. Can't hear us. I mean, he can hear us, but he can't say anything because we're not giving him that kind of privilege yet.
That's right. So, Tommy, just imagine as you guys the guys and gals are listening to this, my son is kind of floating in the background. He's listening. He's watching. He's taking notes. We're going to try
to curl into a small ball that we've talked about him.
Yep. Oh, I guarantee you. And he's we're gonna see how good he can edit. He enjoys. He's really excited about it. So, we left out of here that day. We had like a little impromptu. Travis was kind of talking to us about how he edits and all this, and we left here, and Tom was like, "Dad, I don't know, man." I said, "Well, it's just a lot of information to take in at one time."
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Once you learn what to do, it's just like anything else, man. You got it. But yeah, y'all just know that he's back there kind of watching, and so I guess let's start with that because we have a lot of catching up to do. We've got some funny stories to tell.
Got a lot to talk about.
So you guys better sit back. You give us a week. Look, we're already like to kick this thing in about 2 hours. You give us a week off.
Oh my gosh!
Y'all better just get ready. Is all I'm gonna say. Get comfortable, kick back.
Yeah, I told the wife. I said I don't know when we're gonna go to dinner. I said she's like, what do you want to cook? And I was like, let's don't cook. Let's just plan on going to dinner. I said because I don't know when to tell you to have dinner ready.
That's right. And There's no telling. I'm running a little late. I had to go do some running around, but we'll get into that. But yeah, so we saw each other on Easter. We went down and. Tammy could take or leave situations like that where it's, hey, let's go meet a bunch of people you've never met at a house you've never been to. Me, you and I, you with law enforcement and probably military too, me with fire department, where I'm used to walking into people's houses I've never met. I've never been inside. I don't know these people, right? Doesn't bother me a bit because that's what we did, Her is not so much. She does good with it. But she doesn't like crowds. She doesn't like being, in a lot of people, especially a lot of people that she's never met. So she did really good. I mean, she doesn't like have some kind of weird.
I would have never thought that she was apprehensive about being there.
Oh, so. Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, she did pretty good. I'm getting her out of that a little bit.
well, the unfortunate part, there was a group in the living room, like as we came in, that was it was a fairly significant size group that I honestly didn't know either. That we kind of had to. They were friends of the people who were hosting more than friends of the group, so I didn't really know them. So we kind of had to just kind of cruise by them
Yeah.
to get to the actual host who you knew from your childhood.
Yep.
So it was fun. It was a good time.
Tammy thought that Kim's mother was going to kill me when I walked in, and she just started hollering and screaming, "Mitchell!"
Yeah, she's a little. Hey, Mom B's listening, I'm sure. But yeah, she is one of my favorite people to surprise in the world.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Because you can surprise her with literally anything, and she makes just a great big deal about it. We literally one year for Christmas we wrapped her up a package of clothes hangers, white plastic clothes hangers, and I'm pretty sure we have a video of it somewhere. But just to watch her just go bonkers over, she loves presents, and it doesn't really matter what it is, just somebody getting her something, so she's super animated with stuff like that, so it's always fun.
So did she know I was coming?
I don't know if she did or not, to be honest with you, because we had just gotten there the night before, and so I don't really know if I don't really know, to be honest with you.
I love that woman to death, man. She's always been one of my favorite people.
She's a good soul.
Yep.
She is a good soul.
So we saw each other on Easter. We did not hide eggs because it was raining, but we did eat, and
we did eat.
We kind of got to socialize a little bit.
Froze a little bit, but other than
it was a little cool. It was a little cool.
You never know.
And we decided to take that Easter off. No editing. I think that's why we missed uploading a podcast, because we got to take some time off too. Travis handles all that stuff. Travis does a lot in the background. He does the editing. He keeps up with the subscriptions that we have to have, and uploading, and social media, and all that. So we're trying to bring in an editor, to get some of that, where Travis isn't recording for 2 or 3 hours a week, and then editing 2 or 3 hours, and dealing with all that. So
yeah, somebody with a little bit more time. If you've been listening, you remember the episode with the girls on it. We had so many technical glitches during that episode, and everything, and then I actually ended up having to re-upload everything because, just to be perfectly honest with you, I just don't have the time, and I would like to have the time, but right now, this is a fun gig. It's not like a paying gig, so sometimes we have to decide where we're going to sacrifice things, and things that don't pay get sacrificed.
Oh, yeah.
But
Yeah.
So sometimes I don't always have that extra 2 hours to sit and listen through the entire podcast for the edit part, because when you think about it, we sit through it to record it, then sit through it to edit it. I keep blocking my microphone. Sit through it to edit it, and then we both listen to it fully after it does broadcast, because we can do that while we're working.
Yep.
There's no way for us to listen to the to the edited version before it's published, really, and work. I mean, it doesn't go to like our phones or something where we can be mobile and just listen to it. So that's why it had so many glitches, because I thought I had everything lined up, and then turned out that Tammy's audio was just, still don't know what happened, but it would just jump a second and a half at random, and ended up having to do an episode 7A to kind of fix that.
Yeah.
And even lost the video. We didn't have time to do any video on that episode.
Right.
And that was really unfortunate, because the girls were super stoked about being on that episode, and they had a really good time, and they're both pretty ladies, and we like to show them off as much as we can. So we hate that everybody didn't get to see them, but we'll do another one. We'll do another one with the girls on it for sure.
We're gonna get into, so we hadn't forgot about some of the guests that we want to have on and things. So we're gonna slowly work down that list. Like I said, we have to do one. We have to see kind of how it goes. There's technical stuff that happens, and then we kind of learn about it, and then a few weeks later or whatever, we'll bring somebody else on. So anyway, that was pretty much as far as business. We handle admin and stuff on here right during the podcast, so you just get used to that.
Whatever.
So who want? I think I'll go first, because
I got something I want to do before you go.
Okay.
Go.
Okay.
So do you notice anything different
Yep.
about me?
I wasn't going to say anything. I didn't know if you wanted that secret out or not.
Well, wait, hold on. What secret?
What
Type in the chat what you notice differently before you say
Okay.
it out loud.
All right, I'm
No,
going to say it
no,
because
no. What do you notice different? What's different?
you are not wearing a hat.
I am not wearing a hat yet.
Oh,
So these are in the mail, but I couldn't wait.
okay. All right, let's see. Ooh, I'm excited. Heck yeah, there it is. There it
So
is.
the Off the Rails podcast merch has arrived.
Yes, sir. Man,
So
you
they
know
are
what? That
in,
looks like $100 hat, dude. I ain't even lying.
and it says the Stile Boys. It's hard to get the light to
Yeah.
not fight against it, but it actually has the Stile Boys embroidered on the side of it.
Dude, that is awesome.
So I've got
That
a
is
batch of
awesome.
them in the mail coming to you. Up there it went. Yeah, I got a batch of them coming in the mail to you. I had a batch of them snatched up here at the house. So I got about 4 more left, which by the time this airs, they'll be gone because we're going to do some kind of social media giveaway.
Well, let's get a
know
round of applause. I would ask Thomas, but he can't. We can't hear him.
So we'll just do some cheering.
Yeah.
Right? I love them. Oh, thank you guys.
yeah.
It really wasn't that. It really wasn't that big of a deal.
They are excited.
I mean, it was my pleasure. It was my pleasure.
Look, it's just a hat,
calm
guys.
Calm down. I know they're good. I know they're good. Thank you guys. Thank you so much. We're gonna get them out to you guys.
Goodness.
We're gonna get them. We might even get some for sale.
You know, speaking of that, I won a T-shirt in a Facebook giveaway with some very close friends of mine, and I still hadn't got my shirt. That's been like 2 or 3 years ago. I just remember that. Yeah.
Interesting.
But
Ooh, I feel better now. I feel more.
You look
I feel
more
like
normal.
I feel more like myself. I dig them, and these are my favorite hats, by the way. Richardson, if you ever give me a hat or you want to send me a hat that you think is cool, I will take them. But if it's a Richardson 112, I really do not care what is on the front of it at all. That is my favorite brand, hat and style, or a Wupong Classic. Those are the two.
Well, my cat scratch hats, which I've been saving you one. I meant to bring it Sunday,
Yeah,
and this thing has been kicking around my shop for 4 or 5 months.
I like mine good and sawdust coated.
But it is. I got the Richardson 112s. They're pricey. They proud.
They
of
are.
them.
They are.
They're proud
But
of them.
I think they're worth it. I think they're a quality hat.
Yeah, I wouldn't know.
I mean, if I'm walking and I see that Richardson logo, I am probably going to try to find a way to buy a hat from you. Like I'm going to find a reason to buy. I just like I like the cut of the hat.
Yeah.
And if you got a big head, you want a Richardson 115.
Well, I don't have a
cut
hat
little
head.
different. You don't. You
I don't know what my head does, but it's not hat friendly.
Yeah. Well, and plus the other company that you work for ruined your hat desires
Yeah, I
probably
hate it.
for life.
Hate a hat. Hate it.
Yeah. I've actually got a second hat for Tommy in the box.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Little,
Now Tommy is like you. Tommy wears a hat. He'll go and he'll wear it all day. He takes it off for a shower, and then he has literally come in the living room with a towel and a hat on. And I was like, dude, come on, man, really?
Yeah.
Like, go 10 minutes without it. Let your hair breathe a little bit.
I'm not quite. Pretty much, usually once I come in for the night, I shower. That's kind of it. But
Yeah,
like I don't walk around the house with a hat on usually.
I
But
guarantee you he'll have it on, but he won't.
if I'm being broadcast, like this is the. I mean, did you know my emoji, my Bitmoji or whatever you call it on Apple? It has a hat.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
Yep.
I just have a hat. Just always have.
Well, let me run you through my last 2 weeks here real quick.
Tim, you got some topics on there. I'm curious to see what.
Yeah. Our notes.
goes like.
By the way, our notes are hilarious. I can't wait to get through them.
We'll publish them one day
Yeah. So
because I keep them on there. I don't delete them.
Yeah, I like reminiscing. Adam is the guy who runs American Hat Tip, American Land Mulchers. Of course, he's a local guy, so those of you that listen countrywide, he's not going to do you a whole lot of good. But anyway, He does dirt work, land clearing, mulching, house pads, driveways, culvert pipe, whatever. If it involves dirt, he can do it. He is very particular about how he works. I mean, he keeps his equipment sparkling clean, keeps him. He's just that kind of guy. You know what I mean? So he's one of those that if you call him to come do a job, you're not going to get it done for $20. He is not going to be the cheapest, but
I don't want the cheapest guy ever.
Right. He is going to come in and do just a jam up job. I mean, I can't talk enough good things about him. So he came with the excavator. He had the big, like 80,000 pound machine down in the swamp somewhere. And he said, it's dry where it is, but I can't get it out. So he had to bring a smaller machine over here. And he took the house down, the old house. It is down. If you follow me on Facebook, or especially my wife, you have seen that. He took it down. He buried it. He burned it, never to be brought up again. So we'll see. But yes, it is gone.
Goodbye. Good riddance.
He got a lot of the huge oak trees down where we're going to put the house. Now, we didn't really want to take them down, but we were back and forth about it, and I was like, well, I can't build a house right up under these trees. Just not a good idea. Man, he pushed those trees down, and I was having to cut the logs up, so he could pick them up with the excavator. And he picked the stump up, and it broke into 3 pieces. The other one had a huge hole in the trunk. So it was the right call. I feel better knowing that it was the right call. And I could see a little bit of disease down at the bottom of the stump, so I knew something, really wasn't right. But anyway, he got all that stuff done. He got all the trees up, all the stumps, the root balls, all that stuff done. He did not disturb. He was real careful not to disturb the dirt where we're going to put the house. So all
you don't
that
mess up your natural pact.
That's right. So all
over
that
time.
I mean, he did a great job. So all that's done. He came within the budget we discussed. So that's good. And that's another thing
always a plus.
I like that about Adam, because it's hard. I mean, think about it. If you're clearing off 3 acres, you're doing stumps, you're taking a house down, you just kind of have to guesstimate how many days it's going to take you. Right. And it actually took him another day.
Yeah.
And he was like, listen, here's what I bid. I'm good with that. It was a little bit smaller machine, so the rate was a little bit less than it would have been. So he said it all worked out fine anyway. So that was good.
How much thought goes into? I never had to do that. So how much thought goes into when you're looking at like the around the house of what you want to take down versus what you want to leave? Because you want some shade, and you want some. I mean, and you're in a pretty rural area, so you want that feel. Like, you don't want to clear it out, because if anybody who's had a house in the middle of a field, that's a heating and cooling nightmare. But also you got to look at the trees and go, well, I don't want that one falling on me, or I mean that.
Well, it's hard to heat a house with a branch going through the roof of it. So what we did was, if the canopy would brush the house, we left it. Okay. If the main weight or the main trunk would hit the house, we took it down. Okay. So there's still 2 or 3 trees around there that, if they did fall in the direction of the house, the very top of it, would hit, may dent a piece of tin or something, but no weight is going to be on there. And that's kind of like what we did, because the other thing you have to keep in mind is, if you go into a wooded area and you just clear out a spot for a house and you leave the surrounding trees, those inside trees on the edge of the clearing are now exposed to wind.
It's very true. So they didn't grow up exposed to wind, so they might not be as strong.
And if you have water oaks, the root system is hardly any bigger than the trunk. Really? And that's another thing to keep in mind. Yep, these were water oaks. And I'll send you a picture so you can see. But it was, the excavator took 1 scoop off the left side, 1 scoop off the right, reached up and pushed it over. That's all it took. So we were glad to get all that stuff down. And
what kind of height are you talking about on these? Like, you talking about like 50 footers, 120 footers?
These are 80 footers, probably 80 to 90 feet. Yeah, they were
huge
trees. Yeah. So anyway, now he did get an ember down in the excavator, and I get a text from Tammy, And she's like, hey, I think Adam caught the excavator on fire. And I was like, man, you know how sometimes people be exaggerating stuff. So I was in here, man, I was hot. Because I had to run Adam's saw. His saw's got a 36-inch bar on it. It's like a Stile 660 Magnum. Huge saw. And
That's a big chainsaw.
Yep. And I'm out cutting the trunks up. So I finally get in, man, this air conditioner's going. I'm kicked back, relaxed, and I get a text. And I was like, I'm gonna see if he's really got it on fire.
Did you grab a water bottle just in case?
No, but I was already thinking that I have 50 of them on the back of the truck. Okay. Water bottles. So she said, never mind, I think he's good. He's just moving.
We'll put it out a little at a time. Squirt.
Yeah.
Open another one. Squirt.
So the next text said, he's just moving it. I think he's okay. It's just a little smoky. And then she's like, well, now he's looking under the hood. And so I kind of sit up, and I'm like, okay, do I go or no go,
Right.
And she goes, all right, now he's running full sprint across the pasture. So I was like, oh, no.
We're in full sin.
So I went out there, and luckily it was just a little trash in the bottom that, didn't really do any damage. So
gotcha.
That was good. But anyway, we had the job I was working on was the builder's house.
Yeah.
And we got everything built. And we have all the doors in. That involved a phone call to the freight company.
Because they were lost?
No, they keep double stacking the pallets. And it has stickers on the pallet that say, do not even think about stacking on top of this pallet. That's literally what the sticker says.
You cotton-headed ninny.
Right. And what do? Stack the pallets. And so I called them, and I said, you need to get me to the guy that handles this area. They transferred me, and I said, listen, here's the deal. 5 years I've been dealing with stacked pallets. I've been dealing with damaged pallets. I've been dealing with damaged doors. And I said, they have a sticker that says do not double stack. They still come double stacked. I've sent emails.
Like you're seeing them double stacked.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not even smart enough to like unstack them before they get to you.
Right.
They're just still stacking them.
They're still stacked. And I said, the driver has sent emails. The driver sent pictures. We've had doors had to be reworked and all this. And I said, so I tell you what I'm going to do. This is $4,000 worth of cabinet doors in this one order. If you guys deliver another set of pallets and they're stacked, I'm rejecting the order. And it's going to cost you $4,000 plus all the shipping freight, plus having the doors reworked, plus all this stuff. And you're talking $6,000-$7,000 at that point.
Right.
So I said, if they come double stacked, I'm going to reject them, because I don't know, and now we have to go through them. We have to check every door. We have to stress test every single door now once they double stack, because there could be one in the middle that was not packed correctly or whatever.
Right.
And now it's got weight on it and it's put a hairline fracture in the stile or something. So I said, we don't have time for that. I'm rejecting them. So we'll see. What the next?
Were they receptive? How do you feel like they were? What was the conversation like?
They owned it. They said, yeah, really? You're talking about a warehouse guy on a forklift, right? And he's trying to maximize the amount of room they have in the trailer. So he's like, well, I'll just stack these up and I'll throw them on there. Nobody cares, Here's
the thing I would imagine, though. I would imagine once you put that neon orange, neon green sticker on there, that your freight automatically gets some kind of surcharge on it for,
probably.
For occupying more room on that truck.
Could be.
I'll guarantee. I mean, anybody out there in the trucking industry can tell us. I mean, but I would think that if you putting something on a truck and you say, well, you can't stack anything on top of it, that they're going to have to charge you. They're going to have to figure out some way to charge you for that cubic footage.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I know we moved from Washington back to Alabama one time, and we did like a U-Pack they move thing, and you actually rented room on the 18-wheeler by the cubic foot. So not only did you out, but up as well. Like, I mean, and you stacked it to the ceiling because you only wanted to come 4 foot deep, but you wanted to fill to the roof. And that was how they stacked it. So I would just imagine that there's some kind of surcharge when you do that's being paid. I mean, so I would imagine they're getting compensated for that dead space in that truck.
Well, they're about to eat all of it. I can tell you
Right.
that if they keep double stacking them. And I told him under no circumstance are you guys to double stack this. It's not that big of a deal. Don't double stack my doors. The customers don't deserve it. Now I'm taking time, yada yada, going through them. So anyway,
But
but
this isn't part of like the changeover. We've talked about the changeover in the door
yeah,
process
no,
that you've had. This has just been an ongoing problem, and you're putting your foot down and have had enough of it.
yep,
I got
yep.
you.
And like I said, this is after emails, pictures, correspondence, phone calls. The driver letting them know, making notes on the little delivery iPad thing that he's got. You know what I'm saying? So we've tried before. I didn't just come out of the blue and say, all right, that's it.
Yeah.
But anyway, the builder, I was like, hey, just let me know when you get a paint color. This was 2 weeks ago. So he would call me and he was like, well, I don't know. I don't want to do white. I know that. I'm not going to do white. Everybody does white. I'm going to do something different, but I got to figure it out. I'll let you know.
So you're painting them linen white. That's what I hear.
About a week later, he calls. He's like, I don't know, man. I don't know what color I want to do them.
Is he married?
Yep.
Well, quit calling him. Start calling his wife.
Well, I would, but I don't have her contact. And so anyway, he was like, I may have to do white. And I knew I said I wasn't going to do it, but I might. I was like, well, just let me know because, and I said, I'll tell you what, I'm going to town Friday. I'd like to pick the paint up on Friday if I could. So just, you got till Friday morning. Just let me know. And this is like 2 or 3 weeks after we had started.
Yeah.
And, he's like, all right. So I sent him a text Friday. And I was like, hey, I'm going to town. Just let me know what
Friday.
color. I'll pick it up. And so he calls me. He's like, man, I don't know. So then he finally picked a color and picked a hardware color, picked a paint color, and then there was time for the island color. He said, well, I don't know, maybe some kind of gray or something, And so I said, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll send you a bunch of grays that I've used. I'll send you some pictures if I think that's the color you're looking for. And he saw one. He's like, yeah, that's it. I want that one on the island and another cabinet upstairs. So I said, okay. So we got all that stuff figured out, which is fine. I mean,
Yeah.
Oh, and the funny thing about this job is we've been just rushed so much the last 2 years. And this job, I was like, I can take a breath. We can build it, paint it, hang the doors, drill hardware in the shop. I mean, it's going to be amazing. I ordered doors as just 5 minutes after he told me to go with the drawings. I ordered the doors.
Right.
So I'm like, man, I'm ahead of the ball, dude. This is amazing. We're going to knock this thing out of the park. And so I called him Friday and I said, when you looking to have these things installed?
Yesterday.
He's like, well, the trim guy should be there Monday or Tuesday of next week, and then everybody's got to paint, so maybe into next week. And part of me was like, man, I wish, we could go ahead and set these things and go. But then the other part of me was like, you know what I mean?
I'm going to enjoy this moment.
Man, I haven't felt that sigh of relief in 2 years. Every single day, time I get up, time I go to bed, I'm worried. It's timelines. Hurry. We got to work late. We got to do this, got to do that. And so I was like, man, this is amazing. I'm not being rushed. There's nothing, going crazy right now. So it's a weird feeling for me. I don't really get that feeling a lot. But anyway, now it's a 30 cabinet job. It's a huge job. But I'm looking forward to it. Some different things and stuff. I'll shoot you pictures of it. But anyway, we got all of his stuff done. So that was good. You remember our buddy that I got to, I know we had talked about it, about building a rack. A lumber rack.
Oh, yeah. We talked about him.
Mm-hmm. And I sent you pictures of it. Well, he came through and built the rack, and we went and hung it.
Had a little fun Facebook battle with that one.
Oh, man, that was...
I like that one. Hold up here, Hoss. Hold your comments there, buddy, because you done fired me off on this one.
Yeah. So what happened was
we're cutting grass.
Well, that's the air compressor.
Air compressor.
When we get us a little siesta, like if you get started, I'll go turn it off. But anyway,
no, you're good.
The rack is 10 feet tall, 10 feet wide, and it's made out of 2-inch angle iron and it's got an arm, a 2-foot arm coming out. I think there's 2 foot in between. Anyway, it's a huge rack.
Looked great. I mean,
it looks amazing, man.
I'm super jealous because I don't have any walls to do anything like that on.
You had to pour a concrete post or something.
Yeah.
But anyway, I posted it to the cabinet group, and there was like 1 or 2 guys in there, and they were like, "Well, here's this Bora system. It's only $50." And I said, "Well, let me look at this thing. It's made out of 1-inch tube. It's only 2 feet tall. Yeah. And it's got 4 shelves on it that are rated."
I have a couple of them. They're, if you're going to store face frame on them, I mean, that's about what all they're good for.
I mean, they're good for light duty stuff. But I said I would have to have like what was it?
I know, it's like 15 of them.
It was 20 of them.
Yeah,
because I've got 5. Anyway, I'd have to have 20 of those to get what I get now, and that's only a foot deep. Mine's 2 feet deep. Or
see, if you're a shop like me where you're holding like basically a job at a time, like those little Bora racks are fine. But if you're a big production shop like you are, that's a waste of time, space, and energy.
Yeah, and I was like, anyway, it wound up, it would have cost me over $2,500 to get the same amount of storage with the little cheap $50 stuff as it would with my stuff. And full disclosure, I've got $330 in my whole rack. That is material and labor. And so they were like, "Well, I buy this cheap one." And I'm like, "Dude, do you realize how much cheaper mine is than that?" So we had a little fun on Facebook about that. And I was
and the additional comment was, you helped out somebody who was local to you.
Oh, yep.
Put a little money in some local guy's pocket to help him out. Who's trying to? This is the guy that was doing the side gig, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Like he's getting that started as a side gig. So you helped encourage him as a side gig. I mean, he's a neighbor, in your community, so you helped him out there, and you got a killer product for it for less money. I mean,
oh, absolutely, man. And I've got so many comments on it already. Yeah. Where people come in and they're like, "Wow, look at this! When'd you do this?" And it
looks really cool on that brick wall. I think the brick wall is what really, what really gets it.
Yeah. Anyway, I am super happy with that. Again, thank you so much, Corey. Man, you did a bang up job.
Don't say Corey again. We done named an episode.
Oh yeah,
for Corey.
Right.
Don't call him out again, or we're gonna have to name 2 episodes Corey.
He's gonna be like my secret bromance. So he don't even know anything about it.
Nah, you did a killer job, man. I like it. I wish I could have something like that in my shop. I mean,
yeah.
And you did a good job, and just keep going after it.
That's right.
Don't let the haters hate.
Don't let the haters. They think they know what they're talking about. They really don't. And then the only other thing I have is, we lost the house over here.
Yeah.
With water, and you guys heard that a million times. Now at the rental, I have flooring that has to be taken up. Sheetrock is off the walls. There were fans going, dehumidifiers going, because the air conditioner kept backing up water. Did it 3 times and finally got to where it was starting to buckle the floor. And so I told the homeowner, I was like, "Hey man, it done it again, and the floors are starting to buckle." So he got Alabama Restoration out, insurance out, and all that stuff. So that's fun. I cannot, for whatever reason, man, I cannot get away from water damage in a stinking house. I don't know what's going on.
I mean, when you open the door for Alabama Restoration, they say, "Hey, Mitch, what's up, man?"
Yeah, pretty much.
Was it?
I was hoping it wasn't going to be the same insurance guy, because that would have been, the one that just paid our house off. Man, if he would have opened the door and I would have seen him, I'd have been like, it's not what you think it is, man.
Oh man, we had so much fun with that during Easter. I can't even go through all the comments that we made back and forth at that. I think we went on for about 10 minutes about what would have happened if that would have been the same guy when you opened the door.
Oh yeah, it was. But luckily it wasn't. He had no idea who we were. The insurance guy didn't. So
Well, I mean, we even joked in the new house that you're going to do expanded metal floor just in case that you had water damage, that you're just going to walk on grates. Nobody can be barefooted in Mitch's new house because it's just going to be expanded grates, and just the water will just drip right through.
Yeah, all plumbing outside. We're going to have a porta potty out there, an outdoor shower. I am so sick of water in the house, man.
So you're going to put all the pipes on the exterior of the house.
Yeah.
So that, and then they'll just insert through. So like showers and toilets are on exterior walls. Yep. Nothing on the interior of the house.
Yeah, I might as well. It's just I don't get it, man. I really don't. I'm sick of it. But the good news is it's not our house. We don't have to make any phone calls or whatever. Now I am going to have to, move everything out whenever they come.
You're going to be inconvenienced by it.
Oh yeah, But
it's not.
At the end of the day, it's not that big of a deal.
Did the kids just like see water and just start grabbing their stuff and go out to the camper like immediately? Yeah. They're like, "Oh, we've done this before. We know what
comes next." I was going in because the kids leave the light on in their bathroom every night, and I was going back there to turn that stupid light off. And when I walked on the floor, it was squishing up under me. And we're talking hardwood floors, not LVP. So
really,
yeah, I said, all right, let's deal with it. But anyway, he'll take care of that. We got the guy and the husband and wife that own the house. I mean, they're just I don't know really what renting is like. It's our first time renting, but you talk about out of your business, buddy. Hey, pay us every month. We don't care.
Yeah,
So
not every landlord is that way.
That's
I can
right.
promise you.
Yeah, but we've known each other for a while. He knows I'm not going to destroy his house or anything. Yeah. So, it works out good. But yeah, I couldn't believe that, man. When I walked in and those fans were going, I was like, come on, dude, give me a break, man.
I sleep so good though when these fans are humming. I miss them.
I did sleep good. Yeah, you about have to have them now to go to sleep.
Yeah, but anyway, that was going.
Yep. That was pretty much it. We had a slow. Now we didn't do a whole lot of work. I got to be careful not to tell on myself here, but we did take some extended breaks when Adam was out there with the excavator. I'll say that we're caught up. Nothing's behind, but we spent a couple of Wednesdays ago when he showed up. I told Trey, I said if the excavator shows up, we will not work on Wednesday at all. You can come in, you can stay home. We're not working on Wednesday. And we sat out there in chairs in the yard all day and watched him tear the house down.
Just bag of popcorn and enjoyed seeing it just fall.
That's it. And
good riddance.
Yep. So that was it. And we take Good Friday off. I do not work in the shop on Good Friday, Memorial Day, or Christmas, so we had that day off. But anyway, other than that was it, man. And
that's a lie. That's not it. That's not it. No, there's something in the notes that you're fixing to talk about.
Yeah, I guess so.
Don't say that's it.
Yeah, I guess.
I'm dying to know.
All right, so Trey
you put the word bamboozled in something, and I want to know. I mean, I don't care what it's about, but you use bamboozled, and I'm down.
So the name of the note is Bamboozled by a Hitch Hiker. And again, Travis sees the note and I see the note. So Travis now for a week and a half has seen this in the podcast notes and has not known what happened.
And it's so hard not to send a text or pick up the phone and go, "Hey, what's up with this?" Like, I'm going to need information now. I can't wait a week. Because you sent this one early. This was early when you typed this one.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's been in there for a while now.
Yeah.
We're going somewhere. I don't know where. I was with the fam jam. And we were going somewhere, and I get a phone call from Trey. And he's like, "Hey, cuz, man, I was in a bind, man." I was like, "What's going on?" He said, "Dude, I was in a bind." And I'm thinking, do I need to, start heading where you're at, or what's going on? So he was up around Clanton or somewhere up in there. And anyway, he goes to a gas station. Okay. And there's a hitchhiker / homeless dude, I don't know. But he goes, "Hey, man, I just wonder if I could just get a ride to the interstate. Man, that's all I need, a ride to the interstate." And Trey's like, "All right, man, whatever, Trey he's got some defense in his truck. So I don't think, he was too worried about that. But anyway, he was like, "Yeah, man, I'll take you to the interstate." So he gets to the interstate, and the homeless guy goes, "Are you taking a right towards Montgomery?" And Trey's like, "Well, he must want to go right,
Uh-huh.
So Trey's like, "No, man, no, I ain't going back towards Montgomery. I'm going north." He goes, "Good, man, good. That's where I needed to go." Oh. And I was like, "Ooh, oldest trick in the book, man. How'd you fall for that?"
I'm going west.
So Trey's like, "Shoot." So he's like, yeah, okay, all right. So he's got to go up, I don't know, 10 miles up the interstate. And the guy gets him, they go to another gas station. And the guy's like, man, I just want to run in and get a drink, but all I have on me is $1. And so Trey's looking around, and he finds 75 cents in his console. He's like, well, here's 75 cents, that'll buy you something. Dude goes in the store, comes out with a tall boy of Budweiser, and he's like, man, that's the only thing they had in the whole store. It was $1 I could get for $1.75. And Trey's like, no, it ain't. You could have got a bunch of stuff for $1.75. So
Does he crack the top on this Budweiser and change sexes?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think
just
so.
Checking. All right.
I think this was before all that.
Oh, it was before. Okay.
Yeah, before he knew he had to do that if he drank one. But anyway, he said, yeah, okay, yeah. So they're going up the road, and the guy's looking around Trey's truck, and he sees a couple pair of gloves in the back. And the guy goes, hey, man, you mind if I get one of them pair of gloves off of you? Man, some nice gloves. And Trey's like, dude, I just want to be done with this, man. I done got myself in a bind. I'm going.
Why didn't he drive off when the guy was in the gas station?
That's what I asked him. And I don't know if the guy had, I can't remember why Trey told me he didn't. But anyway, so he's like, yeah, you can have a pair of gloves, dude, just whatever. And he's going up, and then Trey keeps a roll of Copenhagen in there and drops the dude off at a trailer park. And he goes, hey, man, before I get out, man, you mind if I get one of them cans of Copenhagen? Trey's like, here, just get it, get out, and get gone. So
I'm telling you, if he was standing outside the door of the truck when he asked me that, I would have just hit the gas pedal.
I'd
The
have
door
been
could have
gone,
just did
buddy.
whatever.
I would have been gone. But anyway, yeah, that was funny, man, because Trey's trying to help him out. Next thing you know, it turned into this hour-long round trip, $50 in gas and all. You know what I'm saying? I was like, golly.
I mean, that's the problem with, trying to help those people, and and there are ways to help them, and I will through some certain channels. I will help them, but I tell my kids all the time, I'm like 95% of them are that way because of choices that they made, and 90% of them want to be in that circumstance. To be perfectly honest with you, it's amazing how many people don't want, you offered them a job to come work for the day to make some money, but no, I'd rather sit here on the corner and just ask for money.
Yep. And get $5 to get by, and I don't have any responsibility.
Yeah. And what the scary part is even though, if you've got some kind of defense mechanism, is being able to get to the point where you can legally justify that defense mechanism should something go sour. That's something a lot of people don't consider. I've got something, I got a great equalizer here, and that's good until legally you can't bring it out, or you've put yourself on the other side where you're the aggressor, and now you're upside down in this thing. So, and
now the laws are against you.
Yes.
If you want to just start something with it, or let's go ahead and flex my muscles now, and hey.
Well, especially when you invite somebody into your truck, not that they opened the door and just jumped in, you invited them in. It's like, having somebody in your house as a house guest and it goes bad. It's not just, it's not just cut and dry then.
You can get into some gray area over there. And that's what I tell my kids and my wife. I said, if you pull this thing out and pull the trigger, there better not be 1 ounce of doubt in your mind that it'll never even go to court.
Yeah.
That's if it even looks a little sketchy, you better not. I mean, you know. And if your life is in danger, if they're actively trying to kill you and murder you, then that's one, but because somebody makes you uncomfortable or something, So, know your laws. Know your laws. Just because you're able to protect yourself doesn't give you free reign where you can do whatever you want to do whenever you want to do it. And let's see. So that was so funny.
And if you pick somebody up, text somebody, do something, let somebody know you got somebody like that with you.
Yeah. Turn on location sharing.
We had a sketchy incident where we actually, with an Uber, I can't remember if we talked about it or not.
Yeah, we did.
Podcast. Did we?
Yeah.
As a grown man, who's been through some stuff, I was like, let me send a little alert out, let somebody know where I'm at and who I'm with, just in case, But yeah, if you want to pick up a hitchhiker, that's scary enough. But let somebody know that you've got somebody with you who you don't know, and kind of let them know where you're at. And
And the last thing I have before we get into all yours, you got a bunch of them on here. Well, not a bunch, but they're
they're short.
Yeah, I'm ready to hear them.
Well, you got one that I need to make sure that you talk about. So we'll see where you're going next, and I may have to ask you about one if you because I think I need to piggyback off of it.
Yeah, that's where I'm going.
That's where you're going.
I'm going to the piggyback. So, lady stops by the shop the other day, and well, the name of this note is why a lot of contractors get a bad rap, a bad reputation. Because we do have some bad stereotypes around contractors. If you listen to Rick and Bubba, I don't know if you've ever caught on when they start talking about contractors, they must have had a bunch of bad ones.
And Bubba is grading contractors right now because he lost a house to a tornado.
Yeah, the tornado recovery grade or something like that. But anyway, the lady stops by the shop the other day, and I was like, walked out there, yes ma'am, what can we do for you? And she said, listen, I came by here about 6-7 months ago to ask you if you could do some cabinets for me and you were too busy. And I said, yes, ma'am. And, of course, I didn't remember that. People come here all the time. But she said, well, the contractor came in. It was fire damage. And she hired, or insurance, somebody hired a contractor. And then the contractor hired a cabinet guy. And she said, the cabinets have been in my house for 6 months. They're still not done. They have a lot of problems. A lot of things are not right. And that kind of puts me...
It should make the hair on the back of your neck stand up.
It does. Because somehow I feel obligated to fix that situation.
Right.
And I'm not saying everybody should. But I'm like, man, this is... It's horrible.
I think most people's human nature wants to try to help somebody.
Yeah. And I told her, I said, here's what I'll do. I said, I don't have time to build anything or whatever, but I'll come look at it. And then I'll kind of give you my opinion on it, kind of what's going on. Because she was like, man, this is missing. This don't work. So I went down there that afternoon. And she got a tiny kitchen. You could tell they don't have, I got to be careful, but they don't have a lot of money to play around with,
They're on a budget.
And they're on a budget. So I go in the house and I'm looking around, and she said, see, the doors aren't shutting. And we're talking 70s, 80s style cabinetry, exposed hinges, 3/8, rabbited, a rabbet all the way around the door, plywood doors, by the way, no detail on the doors. They're just plywood. But they have a rabbet going around them, so the raised portion on the back side of the door fits inside the cabinet. You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
And the raised portion was too big. It wasn't small enough to fit in the cabinet. It was hitting the frame of the cabinet. So I'm looking around, and I said, okay, I can fix that, pretty easy. What else you got? She said, well, I got a couple missing shelves over here. No problem. Overhead shelves, whatever. I can bang 2 of those out. She said, also, there's a drawer missing over here. I don't know why it's missing, but it's missing. And
just a hole.
Yep. 2 drawer fronts haven't even been put on. These cabinets were put in 6 months ago. And I said, well, what did they say? And she's like, well, they come about every 3 or 4 weeks, and they spend 20 minutes here looking at something, and then they leave. And they do that about once a month. They'll show up, they'll fix this, they'll look at this, and then they'll leave again. And they don't answer the phone. They don't call me back. Nothing.
So they're there to say that they were there so they could stay in good graces with the insurance or the contractor, whoever hired them, but they're not there enough to actually do anything.
Something's, and I've never heard, I've never heard of the guy, the contractor. So he's not like some local guy. Anyway.
So they've got their check and they're working another job with that check in their pockets, what they're doing.
Bingo. And we're talking insurance money.
Right. So it was overcharged already.
My insurance adjuster told me that the average cost of cabinetry they replace is $300 a linear foot just for lowers.
I'm getting into redoing cabinetry for insurance.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
That's
ridiculous.
all I want to work for.
It's ridiculous. And guys, before y'all start claiming you make $1,500 a foot, listen to what I'm telling you.
Right.
These cabinets that they're replacing probably cost $30 a foot to build.
Are they press board?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
RTAs.
Yeah. Well,
basically.
some of these, if they're from the 80s or 70s, they were probably built on site here,
Okay.
nailed together. But anyway, this ain't fine cabinetry we're talking about. But the insurance, you can go to the insurance company if you're a roofer or whatever, a cabinet maker, and say, well, I'm charging you this much to replace them. These things, they were stained ebony. They had different colored hinges. Like hinges would be, a pair of doors, whatever. And where the hinge side of the doors, where two of them met, it'd be one would be like a rose color, the other one would be like an old brass color, two different style hinges. It was horrible. She's got a drawer, of course, in the corner you can't even open. You physically can't open it. It's hitting the other drawer.
Bad layout or just bad workmanship? Okay.
Bad layout. You have to give yourself room in the corner to pass the hardware and all that. Mm-hmm. So there was none of that in there. There was, like I said, a drawer missing. There was this and that. And I said, listen. Oh, and the doors were held in by magnets. The little cheap white plastic magnets that have a metal plate that goes on the back of the door. And when you close the door, it sucks to the magnet. That's how they're trying to keep the doors closed.
Okay.
Birch plywood doors. And if you've ever tried to stain birch, you can kind of guess
beautiful.
what it... Oh, yeah. It's horrible looking. Pits, runs, craters.
You're going to put stain on something's about a piece of paper?
That's it.
Birch veneer is not very maybe I'll give it 2 sheets of paper.
Yeah.
Two pieces of paper. I mean, you accidentally touch it with a sander and you're through the veneer.
Right through the veneer. Absolutely. Oops. And so none of the doors match. It was a horrible, horrible hack job. And it really ticked me off when I walked in and I saw that. And I took Trey with me.
Yeah.
And I told her, I said, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to take a door down. I got an idea. I'm going to make the rabbit a little bit bigger on the back. Shouldn't take any time at all. That'll at least get them where they close right. And so I said, I'm going to take a door back to the shop. Now, by the way, she's 2 minutes down the road. She's a neighbor.
Okay.
So I said, I'm going to run one back to the shop. I'm going to hit it with a router table, take it back.
So now you're kind of in a do the right thing, and now you're also kind of crossing into the community issue.
Yep.
Because there's 20 people in this community.
That's right. Yeah, it's not very many of us.
Yeah.
And she looks at me and she goes, well, before you take that door down, how much is that going to cost me for you to take the door to the shop? And I said, ma'am, listen. I said, nothing. It's not going to cost you anything. I said, before you ever owe me $1, you're going to have a proposal. You're going to have a contract explaining exactly what I'm going to do and exactly how much it's going to cost. So she said, okay. I said, I'm not going to charge you. And I said, I'm not going to keep your door either. I'll be back in 30 minutes. So I took it back to the shop. And
she's going, I've heard this before.
Yep. And I'd be in the same boat, dude. I'd feel the same way. Yeah, what's this dude going to do, So I took it back. I rerouted it. I took it back over there. It shut fine. I moved the magnet, because it won't stay shut without the magnet because the hinges are all jacked up. And I can't swap out the hinges because they're plywood doors with a 3/8 overlay, so it's not going to work. So anyway.
They probably are just on so crooked they've got them in a bind.
Yep. So I did that, and I gave her a price on fixing everything, and I said, but here's what you need to do. I said, double my price and call your contractor. And you can tell him it's going to cost this much to fix it. Because he's going to go and he's going to say, well, it ain't my job. Well, somebody else did. He's going to frou-frou around the block all day. And I'm going to say, just talk him into half of it. And if he pays half and you pay half, guess what? I'm paid, and you don't have to come out of pocket. Right. Now, you're talking building one drawer, putting 2 fronts on, rerouting a few doors, and putting 2 shelves in. You're talking 30 minutes of work, So at the end of the day, I'm going to fix it whether I make any money off of it or not. But that is, and she looks at me, dude, and she goes, I'm tired, Mitch. I'm tired. I'm frustrated. I'm tired. I can't use my kitchen. The doors don't work. I've been living in this mess for 6 months. They won't, and I was like, golly, man, I don't know how these people get off, man, and do this kind of work for somebody. And I don't mean I think everything I've ever done is perfect. I guarantee you on the last 200 full houses that I put cabinetry in, there's a crooked door somewhere, But
if somebody calls you and says, "Hey, this door's crooked,"
I'm on it.
I'm pretty willing to bet you'll drive over there and straighten it out.
I'm on it. I've done it before. But anyway, so yeah, and I was and I told Trey, I said, how many of these could we do for either one of our builders and still have a job?
Right.
And he said 0. He said, man, he told that lady, he said, listen, the people we work for, they wouldn't stand for this. So she asked me about an island, and I gave her a price. And you could tell it was higher than what she thought it was going to be. And so I pulled my phone out, and I showed her some of the kitchens that I've done. Not bragging, but I wanted to say, here's what you get at that price. You don't get what's in your kitchen here.
Right.
I don't know what you paid or what insurance paid, but that's not what you get. If you want complete custom cabinetry delivered, installed, and I'm right here if something happens, this is what it's going to cost, And so, I don't know. She's calling a contractor and seeing what he says, but we've been there.
So what do you think's going on? Do you think so on one side of this, I think that there has to be two bad actors. But do you think that that's true, that there's two bad actors? Or do you think you've got a contractor who's given all the money that he can to some cabinet guys, and they've taken advantage of him, and now he's sitting there stuck? Or do you think they're both bad actors?
Well,
like that, you know what I mean?
Here's what I think. And we'll see what he says. He may, if she calls him, he may say, dang, last time I was there, he was putting the cabinets in. This is the first I've heard about it. I don't know. I don't know what their relationship is. If he helps her out, if he offers to pay for it, I might be leaning to say he just kind of delegated the cabinet guy and then he was uninvolved with it.
Right.
Even though I don't agree with that, I would let that go.
Right.
But by the same token,
that's a bad contractor, not a crooked contractor.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep. By the same token, I feel like the contractor probably in the last 6 months has talked to this lady and kind of knows what's going on. And it could be a team effort, and this guy wasn't a cabinet guy. I can tell you that. Whoever built those, there's no toe kicks on them. The bottom rail of the base cabinets are like 5 inches tall and they sit right on the floor. It is horrible, dude.
Lovely.
It is horrible, man. So, like I said, I don't know. I think right now, just looking at it, I tend to believe that he goes, hey, I can get $300 a foot. I'll give you $150. I'll keep $150. We both make money and we go down the road.
Yeah.
But you need to, and this is part of the podcast, because we don't just talk to cabinet makers. There are homeowners here that listen to this.
Yeah.
If somebody walks in your house to fix something, they don't bring paperwork, they don't bring numbers, they don't bring estimates, they don't bring quotes, they don't bring proposals, work orders. You better get that stuff in writing before you do anything. I still do it. If I'm doing work for a builder, they know what they're going to get. Now, mine's via pictures and, discussions and all that stuff. They don't necessarily get the same, boilerplate form.
Right.
But they know what they're getting, too. If they want me to build their cabinets, they know what kind of finish, what kind of drawers, and this and that. But if you don't know this guy and he's coming in to fix your roof or he's coming in to do plumbing work, you better make sure everything is covered, with paperwork. Yeah. Because if you show up in court, small claims court, and you don't have any paperwork, you don't have a lawsuit. You don't have any way to win. Yeah. So just keep that in mind. But yeah, that made me feel bad because that's how guys like us get a bad rap.
Oh, for sure.
They're dealing with people, crooks and all this. So do what you can. If you can kind of go in your community or somewhere close, and I don't mean you got to spend $20,000, but do what you can to try to take care of these people. They were done wrong. They didn't have anything to do with it. She didn't ask me to do anything for free.
Well, it's situations like this that make it hard for us to say, hey, all right, we'll do this job, but we need a deposit.
Bingo.
Whatever you want to deposit the range in, somebody's gotten burned on that. They're like, I don't want to give you any money.
Yep.
Before you start, and you say, well, I don't want to outlay any money until I start because I got to make sure I get. See, there's this. Both sides are afraid to get burned.
Yeah.
And it's crappy contractors that have created this. This stigma out there that somebody's going to run off with your money. The guy that I rent from my shop from gave a guy $30,000 for a building to put a roof on it. He ain't seen him since.
Oh man.
He's like, I know he needed materials. He's like, so I mean, it's not uncommon for somebody to ask for a deposit, to get materials because I mean, $30,000 of materials, and he's just kind of starting out, and that whole kind of thing. He's like, and I ain't seen hide or tail of him since.
And then the next guy who says, "Well, I need money down before I start," your guy's going to be like, "Yeah, that's what the last dude said."
Yeah, Yeah.
So I think what I've decided on is I'm going to tell her, assuming she wants me to do the work, I'm going to tell her, listen, you don't have to directly pay me anything, but I want to be sure I'm going to have access to it. If you want to put it in a jar and put it in your closet, something. But before I take this job on, I need to make sure that when I get done, the contractor's going to have the money. He needs to go ahead and pay you, if he's paying for it or whatever needs to happen. But, it's going to be an uncomfortable conversation because, my deal is $500. So if you're getting something from me that's more than $500, then I take 50% down. Right. Now, of course, like my brother, or somebody like that, I wouldn't. But anyway, that's my rule, $500. If you want me to order a door for you, and replace it, I'm not going to make you pay half the door or whatever down. But so I don't know. We'll see what happens to it. It's going to be interesting to see. But just, I mean, help us out. Help us out. Don't make us look like that.
I hate that pricing scenario, and so this is not the piggyback that I intended on, but I recently had a customer. So I was working at a customer's house, and the neighbor came over. He said, "Hey, do you have a minute?" I said, "I do." He said, "Well, let me show you this." So he walked over next door, and he had a cabinet, and like a butler's pantry area. So kind of this little area between the kitchen and the dining room. And it's just two double door cabinets, two 36-inch cabinets. And he said, "I want to take this one." He said, "I've already got the fridge for it." He said, "I want to take this cabinet. I want to convert it over to a wine fridge." He said, "I just want the face frame cut out, slide the fridge in, redo the face frame so the fridge fits, right?" He says, "Is this something you'd be interested to do?" I said, we could do that. So I got with my partner because, I don't just bid things without talking to my partner, and he's like, "Man, it's just probably not going to be worth our money." It's and by the way, it's an hour away from both of us. So it's an hour there, an hour back. And I text the guy and I said, "Look, I appreciate the opportunity. I just don't think that I can give you a fair price for this job. And these are the reasons why. The scope of the job is not very big. The travel time." I said, I would have to fit it in on like a Saturday or something, which is kind of overtime-ish.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, "I get it. That's fine." And I could it's kind of weird because it was by text, but I kind of felt by the tone of the text that it was like some disappointment in it. Like maybe he's a little frustrated.
Yeah.
So I sent him one more message and I said, "If you're not going to be insulted by the number and you need a number, I will give you a number for what it would cost for me to do it." I said, "But I need you to know these are the factors and that it's going to be high, what I think is high." So, he's like, "Well, shoot me a number." And now keep in mind, this guy's a former Marine. So we had that in common. He's an Air Force pilot currently. So we had the military kind of thing going. And we had talked a little bit, had a little conversation. And so I don't know how many people he's asked to do this or what, I don't know the history. And I shoot him a number. I shoot him $750 is what I shoot him. And, he, within like 5 minutes, he texts me back. He says, "Let's do it. When can you put it on the schedule?" So I said, "Saturday after Easter is my first Saturday available. We'll do it then." So, long story short, go and do the work. Everything goes pretty well, Kind of the only thing I would say that didn't go as planned was that they kind of had the fridge there, like they wanted me to install the fridge, which not a big deal, but one person, kind of a hefty fridge. I mean, it was a 30-inch wide wine fridge on one side, fridge on the other, you
Oh
know.
yeah.
I mean, so a little, a little weight to move around, but he had a dolly there. And, and I had some ratchet straps, so I just ratchet strapped it to the dolly because I had to pull it up a couple of front porch steps.
Mm.
Got it in
Always
there.
steps.
There's always a step, yeah. But he had the dolly, so that was the biggest hurdle overcome, which I keep a dolly on my trailer, which, by the way, trailer life for Travis is mucho bueno.
Good.
I like it. Whatever that what it's supposed to say, I like it. The setup is great. Like having everything on the trailer, being able to work in there. Oh man, it's a game changer. But anyway, so I get it in there. Well, kind of at the beginning of the, about halfway through, I'm texting my wife, and I'm like, I kind of feel like I need to change the price on this. She's like, why? And I said, well, it's going a little faster than I expected it to. And this is about 2.5 hours in, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, man, I just feel like, and she's like, well, what did you quote it by? Did you quote it by like an hourly rate, or did you just quote, this is what I'm going to do, and this is the price that it takes to do it? And I said, well, I just kind of said, this is what I'm going to do, and this is what it takes to do it. I said, but I always look at it like from my standpoint of, would I pay that?
Right. Yep.
But the problem is that for 95% of what I do, I wouldn't pay anybody to do.
Yeah.
So it's how do you value what you do when you wouldn't pay anybody to do it? Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? It's a very weird dynamic to be in, because and I was talking to the wife who was there. He was working. I was talking to the wife, and she was telling me about, he tried to do a home project, just putting in a vanity, and she's like, it went terrible. He didn't have the right tools. 4 trips to Home Depot. And I was like, yeah, that's where DIYs can come, can go sideways. I said, everything's going right till you need a tool. Now I've got a $200 tool that I'm going to use for once.
Yep.
I show up, and yeah, you're paying me, but I guess kind of what I want to say is if you're a homeowner, remember that you're not always paying for the time that it takes for a job to be done. You're also paying for the lessons that person has learned to do this job, to do it right, and to do it efficiently one time and be done, and it be correct.
And it be right. Exactly.
And it be right. I mean, that's the thing. Like, you don't want to pay me $200, right? And I got to stretch it out to 5 or 6 trips because I keep doing it wrong, whatever it is. I mean, it doesn't matter, but I don't have enough experience to get it right. So I keep having to come back, which is not costing you anything financially, but boy, is it an aggravation, right? Mm-hmm. You're losing time, you're losing energy, you're frustrated by this process. Well, so long story short, I ended up wrestling that fridge in and out of that hole that I had made very nice. So there was no room. I mean, it's custom. Like, it looks like it was made for that fridge,
yep.
And I mean, so there was no room left, right, up, or down. It's tight. It looks built in and 100% custom. So I wrestled that fridge in about 7 times to get it level.
Mm.
And so after about that, I said, you know what? I feel good about the price that I quoted them.
Yep.
Because it's in there, it's right. And when I told her, she's like, how much was it? And I told her, she didn't say a word. She's like, okay, here's your money. And, and I text the husband. I said, hey, thank you so much for letting me do this for you. If we can do anything for you in the future, be happy to. Appreciate your business. I just always like to do that circle around. Because I think it's important. Like, the thank you, I thank the person who actually was there, but I like to thank the person who did the initial contact too, that I've been working with.
Yep.
That's gone through the pains of getting this process done. Because it's, no matter how smooth you make it, it's a pain. It's annoying. It's obnoxious. Yeah. And and I got a couple hours later back, I got a text. It looks great. We appreciate it. We'll definitely recommend you to the neighborhood. Thank you so much. And and I was like, man. So I was like, I feel like we both got what we wanted out of this.
Fair.
He knew from the front. That I told him. These are the circumstances of what this price are going to be.
Yeah.
I got 2 hours of commute time. I was on scene for about 4 hours. So I'm about 6 hours into this job, dragging trailer tools, equipment, and it's tight and right. There's
Yep.
there will be no callback on this,
Yeah.
and they know that.
And it's what I call fair value, right? So, and if you think about that, that fair value thing is a loaded concept, but basically what it means is I didn't get away with anything, neither did
Right.
you, but you feel like you got the value of the end result is what you have in the product.
Right.
What all that comes with is that's different for everybody. But
Yeah.
that fair value thing, because keep in mind, it also has to be fair on me, the business owner, who is
Right.
sticking my neck out there, running a business, paying insurance, workers' comp. You go down the list of all these monthly costs that I have just to run the business. You're also paying me for my skill set, my expertise, do it once, build it once, finish it once, we're done. But you also get a good result.
Right.
You get it on time. You get what you were expecting to get. That's fair value. I'm not here to rip you off. You're not here to rip me off. I don't run a charity organization, bad as I hate it. I don't run
Right.
one. And so yeah, there's a lot to be said about that. And I do the same thing.
I do a little charity work from time to time, but
Yeah.
don't mean to.
Don't mean to.
Don't mean to, but sometimes I do a little charity work.
It's it's why I don't do dining room tables.
Right.
All right. They used to ask me to build a dining room table, and I said, I'll build it, but it's going to cost you thousands of dollars. I'm set up to run cabinetry. I can run that efficiently. I cannot build dining room tables efficiently. And my rate is my rate. So,
Well, you could do like everybody else during the farmhouse movement. You could have slapped some 2x6s from Lowe's together and called it a farmhouse table, like everybody, and that curls in the first year.
Yep. And I have rebuilt a farmhouse table that they spent way too much money on. And the lady goes,
what you're supposed to do with this table is in a year, you're supposed to put a string from one end to the other, and it's now a giant bow and arrow because
yeah.
because it's a curve.
Yep. And so, a hard lesson for me was learning that, you have to kind of stay in your lane on some of this stuff. Yeah, I have the ability to build, and I'm not bragging, but I've got the ability to build a very high-end custom dining room table that would be worth thousands of dollars. But my labor rate is my labor rate.
Right.
And if you want me to spend all day planing 2x4s from Lowe's and gluing them and pocket holding them together or whatever, that's fine. But go buy you a table from American Oak. Go buy you a table from a nice furniture place. You're going to be the same.
Or find a maker. Find a maker who does tables.
Yep.
Like that. That's what he does.
Yep.
You don't want to buy a table from a cabinet guy, just like you don't want to buy a cabinets from a furniture guy.
That's right.
It's not. It's just not. That's just not what they do, and that doesn't mean that you can't do it. It's just not what they do.
Yep.
Well, so I'm gonna segue, and I normally wouldn't do this, but this customer, he ticked me off.
Let's hear it, man. I've been waiting on this.
And I'm gonna ask you something. So when you get a service done. Obviously, I don't want to throw you the same scenario that we did for this guy, but okay, I'll give you a review that he did on Facebook because I looked this guy up, right? And he filled out a review on Facebook. Let me see if I can find it. It's right here. I think I got it right here, close by. And he was up. Oh, here it is. I do not recommend this company. I ordered a shirt over a week ago. They billed my card immediately. I have not received any communication from them, nor have I received my shirt. Okay, I'm with him on it's been a week. I haven't received my shirt. Okay. But when you buy something like that online, when do you expect to be charged for it?
Then.
Correct.
Right then.
Right? When you go to a restaurant and you order a meal, when do you expect to pay for it?
That night.
Okay, that night. Okay. If somebody was to install something in your house and the install was done, when would you expect to be asked to pay for it?
Quick as they done.
Okay. So that seems reasonable, right?
Yep.
So this guy is a general contractor And so we were contacted by his wife to do some work in their home. Okay. The Murphy bed from hell. I think I talked about it a little bit, where
Yeah.
everything was out of plane and it's just been, $3 million house and everything's jacked up,
Yep.
you know. And, so he wanted, information so that he could basically write it off like we're a subcontractor. That's between you and the IRS. You want to commit tax fraud, that's fine. It's not on it. That's not
Not
on
my
me.
business.
Not on me. You know, but we're not your subcontractor. But anyway, so he does that, and so he basically he pays a third now at this time. We're like, okay, this is how you want to do it, because we got to come back and we got to put the fake doors on the front of the thing. Well, in that meeting, I'm explaining to him, because he's not going to use any of our finishers. He has his own finisher. So I know exactly how this is going to go. He's going to bring in some painter that paints some low-end houses, probably, that he builds as a slumlord. I'm just guessing by the way he's treated us and the way he acts. So he's just going to bring in some painter to paint this, paint this piece of furniture in a multi-million-dollar house. And I'm explaining to him that I don't want parts painted, because when we put these fake doors on, I'm going to glue these doors on. So when I put the glue on them, I want to glue wood to wood, not paint to paint. Right? Anybody who's out there, it makes sense, right? If I have two surfaces that are natural and porous, then the glue is going to bond to those better than if I seal them with paint. And now I have a layer between the glue that is divided by paint, and I don't have anything attaching to the pores and the fibers of the wood. Okay? You would think if you're a general contractor, you would understand what I'm saying to you, but I have to explain it to him 3 times. And in the middle of this, he explains, I'm a contractor. I've been building houses for 20 years.
Oh, yeah. I love those guys.
Well, then you should be able to follow this guy. Okay? So, get a call and says, hey, the doors are ready to be installed. When can you do them? I can do them. I was actually in the same town that day. You know what? Actually, I can shoot right over. Do you have the door handles for those fake doors? No. Well, then I can't install the fake doors until you have fake door handles. Right?
You mean you got to get to the back side of it and put a screw in?
Yes, Mr. General Contractor. I have to get to the back of the cabinet doors to put a handle on it so that they look like real cabinet doors on this fake Murphy bed. A couple days later, we've got the handles. We're ready. Okay. I can do it on Thursday. Sounds great. Text on Wednesday night. Still good for in the morning? Everything look good? Well, actually, the handles aren't here. They should be here in a day or two.
Oh, come on.
Well, when were you going to tell me? Like,
Right.
if I hadn't sent this courtesy text, right, which I do to everybody, not just because of these issues, but I do this to everybody because of these things, because I know I'm not your priority. That's fine. I know the cabinet guy is not your priority. And, you got appointments that change in shift. I just need to make sure, for my time's sake, that I'm going to something that I can accomplish. And so, no, they're not there. So we reschedule. Show up, put the doors on. Everything's on. Everything's installed. Send a message to his wife, who's the person I've had contact with this entire time, right? I have not really had a lot of contact with this guy. That's on the billing side with my partner. And I said, hey, doors are on. Speaking of, by the way, if somebody is working in your house, right, and you leave, wouldn't you think you would probably say, hey, if you need anything, I've got to leave for a little while?
Oh, yeah.
Or like say something? No words, no whatever. So I send a message as I leave. Hey, everything's on. Everything looks good. Make sure we're going to let the glue set for a good 12 hours before you open and close the door. And by the way, they're painted. For whatever reason, nothing on the inside of the Murphy door is painted. So you fold down this Murphy bed and everything on the inside of the bed is not painted. No idea. I don't understand it.
Somebody had an issue with effort.
Yeah, I guess. Oh, and his painter, who I said, does this guy do cabinets? Because this is not a wall. This is a cabinet. Oh, yeah, he does cabinets for me all the time. Yeah, it's rolled. It's rolled paint job on these cabinets. Oh, and in the meantime, I forgot. In the meantime, Mr. General Contractor, calls me when the painter gets there and wants to know which side of the doors is the front and which side is the back. And I'm thinking, well, between your cabinet painter and you, Mr. General Contractor, you should be able to tell. Now, I would expect general homeowner not to know, maybe not to know these things.
Yeah. Yep.
But a shaker door, a 5-piece shaker door, what am I going to say, Mitch? What am I going to say?
You talking about how it looks?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, the reveal's going to be on the front side.
It's got a deeper reveal on the front, a shallower reveal on the back. I don't expect everybody to know this, but I would expect a cabinet painter and a general contractor to be able to know the front of a door from the back of a door.
Yep.
So I have to explain that to him. And so fast forward. So we get done, and so I say, hey, the doors are on. Give it 12 hours before you open them. By the way, we've had to add a lot of weight to the front of the door based on what the pistons are designed for. I said, so in my text, I said, so when you put the mattress in there, the weight of the mattress, we're hoping will cause the doors to close all the way. It may not, because we've added weight to the front of the doors, and we had to make some adjustments that are out of the norm because of your walls and your floors being unlevel. If, when you put a mattress in it, it doesn't close properly, don't sweat it. We'll come back, we'll make it adjustments, and we can always put a latch on it to latch it flush.
Mm-hmm.
He sends us a text. Doors aren't flush. I'm like, have you not? I mean, we've already covered this. And so we're like, so we go through the whole thing again. And my partner says, and we've sent you an updated invoice. The job is now done. Because he didn't want to pay us until those fake doors are on. The job is now done. Well, I don't have a mattress coming till Monday. So we'll see, and I'll pay you then. And I want to say, when you order a meal at a restaurant, do you wait till you crap it out before you pay it, or do you pay for it before you leave? Like,
well, who is supposed to buy the mattress, you or him?
Right. I mean, this has been a 4-week process from the time that we said go till now. It's been 4 weeks. You've known from the very beginning that it had to be a 12-inch thick mattress, no thicker, for a full-size bed. You made those specs. Y'all knew what it was. Mm-hmm. So why is it our fault that you don't have a mattress for it?
Yep.
Well, anyway, it goes down a series of other comments where basically we were told that we were hounding him for money when we've just asked for the payments to be done. And we're told to go fly a kite. And if not me, but if my partner stepped foot on his property, who's only been there once, and that was just to help with the install, has not been there. I mean, there's been no nefarious acts that he would be met with law enforcement activities if he showed up on the property.
Oh, yeah, this dude sounds like a real winger, man.
So my partner's like, I don't even want you to go back. I was like, oh, I'm going back.
Yeah, you don't know who he's talking to.
I can assure you I'm going back because, for one, I'm not going to let this guy intimidate me and say that we didn't do a job 100%. If it needs latches on it, if it needs tweaking, I'm going to tweak it.
Yeah.
If not, I'm going to have some kind of message or something from him that we can cover ourselves with to protect our reputation that says that we weren't allowed to come back because he's an a-hole.
Yeah. Yep.
But he was a contractor. So what I told him, the moral of this story is that he's a contractor that took a test. He did not grow up in the trades. He didn't come through the trades, because if he did, he would respect the trades a little bit more.
Yeah. And
he would understand. But I mean, could you imagine being this guy's electrician for building a house for him?
Dude.
Sir, all the wires are run. I'd like to get paid. Well, when we turn the power on, we'll pay you. When we can check the bulbs, we'll pay you. No, buddy, that's not the way it works.
Nope.
It just...
my builder has never told me that he'll pay me for cabinetry when the customer moves in the house.
Right.
And here's a fun fact, by the way. I didn't know this, and one of my builders told me. He said that he has to pay out of pocket the half down for the cabinetry.
Right.
Because the banks won't give him a draw until the cabinets are done.
Right.
And I said, have you always done that? And he's like, yeah. And dude, we're doing pretty big jobs. Like, this dude's writing me $11,000, $12,000 check out of his bank account, out of his business. I'm assuming this is, his builder's bank account. But I said, hey, well, listen, man, look, here's the deal. Don't put yourself in a bind over that. You know what I mean? I don't know what your financial situation is. If you need to wait until you get a draw or something like that to pay me my half, just tell me. I can order I order it all on credit anyway. Yeah. So I told him, I said, don't put yourself. He's like, oh no, it's fine. It's part of doing the business. I was like, well, I'm not worried about you guys taking.
Well, generally, a good builder with a good reputation can probably pay cash money for one house at a time.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, that seems crazy, but usually can cover a full house if they're a good, if they've done business and set it up properly.
Yeah. Yeah. And hearing stories like, because I've got a story kind of like that. It never really got. I did kick one of them out of my shop. It was this huge company, and anyway, it was just nightmare after nightmare after nightmare. And he came over to my shop one day, wanting to see what I had done already on his job.
Yeah.
And it was like, dude, you might as well slap me in my face. When you walk in here and say, well, have you started on it yet? And I say, yeah, I've started on it. Here it is, And he's like, well, can I see it? After our previous conversations, And I was like, I tell you what, buddy, best thing for you to do is go out there and you get in your little company truck and you go back to your little company job site. That's the best thing for you to do today.
Just tootle on out of here.
And then had the nerve at the end of that job to ask me, did I want to do a vanity for him on another job? I said, have you lost your ever-loving mind? Don't ever call me again.
It just frustrated me because I'll go 100 times. I'll go 100 times to make it right. But you know what? I deserve a little bit of dignity. I deserve a little respect. And this guy is clearly just thinks that he's on this pedestal where he can just look down on, the cabinet maker or the guy, And what's funny is that I look down on you because, for one, that you don't have the testicular fortitude to have a conversation. I mean, he won't talk to anybody on the phone. He does it as a keyboard warrior, for one thing.
Mm-hmm.
And that he won't engage with us in a constructive way, so that we can all accomplish the same thing, which is give him a great product. But I also look at him like, what kind of guy are you? I mean, you got this nice, multi-million-dollar house on a golf course in a very prominent area, and you want to put this very nice piece of furniture in it and then you cheap out on the most important thing, which is the finish.
Yeah. Meanwhile, he's talking all this smack to you, and he's got a rolled on finish on.
I'm like,
dude, don't talk to me.
You want to ask me about craftsmanship? I mean, and that's the thing. He made a comment on Facebook post about the craftsmanship. I said, you've seen me in person 3 or 4 times, and I've always asked you, are we happy? Do we need to do anything different? Don't make a word or a peep about craftsmanship, and then you want to get on Facebook. You want to get on behind a keyboard. I really want to go back to the house because I really want to ask, hey, where is the craftsmanship issue so that I can correct it? Where are you seeing a deficiency at? Is the deficiency in the door that's not closing all the way? Because we've covered that. That's been covered. The way a Murphy bed is designed to work in a specific way, and you wanted a design that's outside of that scope, and that was talked about during that design phase, that we may have to do additional things. Like these are not uncovered topics. Something that's designed to be held closed by pistons, but yet we've put, an extra layer of face frame, and we've put an extra layer of doors on it. Now we've got another 120 pounds on the front of it. Well, maybe not 120, probably 80 pounds on the front. Well, yeah, that changes the dynamic of everything. But you know what? We're going to make it right. We're not done to the point where, we're saying you're on your own, but we are done to the point where we should be paid.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. But it's just super frustrating that, that the keyboard warrior element just really frustrates me because I'm there. I mean, there's no reason to bash me online when I'm in your house and I'm repeatedly asking you, is everything okay? Is there anything I can do better? Is there anything I need to fix while I'm here? That's just frustrating.
Yep.
But
Yep.
you know what? There's just some people, and when I saw that review online that he posted about a company, I was like, sounds right. Just
Yeah.
it, there's no irony that he has a bad review on a company and it's about being charged when he ordered something.
Right. Yeah, and he'll have a breadcrumb trail. You know what I'm saying? And this came up. I'm not going to say the guy's name. There's a guy in the Facebook group that went and looked at a job. I think he did. Anyway, he wound up not taking the job on, and the dude got really mad and started saying stuff about him. And he had to go on Facebook and kind of defend himself and say, we always strive to give this and that and yada yada. And it's just, that's another battle that we have, that we can't control what somebody else does. They have the freedom to go on Facebook and write whatever they want to write. There's, now I guess if it was big enough, you could get them in like a defamation lawsuit. Well, if somebody goes on Facebook and talks crap about your company, all he's doing is trying to make himself look good.
Right.
And I've been there. I've had them like that before, and it just about come to a knockdown drag out about it. And I've been on the phone through text, and I've been threatened to be taken to court and all that stuff because it's a long story, but it's nothing that I did. And anyway, this dude just decided to withhold some money from the job. And I was like, oh, no, buddy. I said, you may think you head honcho, but I've got something you don't. I've got a contract.
Yeah.
And long story short, I sent him an email. I said, okay, here's your two options. Number one, pay me the rest of my money. Number two, take it to your lawyer. Here's a copy of the contract. See what your lawyer says.
Yeah.
And, I'm not going to get into the situation because the homeowner didn't have anything to do with it. He's a friend of mine. This was the builder. But, yeah, I mean, you have to be – and that's why I said a while ago, man, those contracts, that's all you have. Yeah. All you have in some situations is a contract or some sort of written – it can be a text. I talked to a lawyer one time. He's like, dude, if there's enough in the text messages, we can use that. Of course, they'd rather have a contract or whatever. But anyway, right. Yeah, and people do that, man. They get on this high horse, and we've all dealt with builders like this. They get on a high horse. They think they're better than everybody. And by the end of the job, you know what I've realized? You don't know diddly squat about building a house.
Yeah, this guy made it apparent. I was like, well, I'd love to see. I want to see what kind of slumlord level crap you're building.
Could you imagine if you and I walked through? I would like to take you and I and my two builders. Let's take a field trip and let's go through one of them houses. And I promise you, that's someone going to leave with his tail between his legs.
Well, I'd love to ask him, Mr. General Contractor, where were you at when they built this wall out of plumb and your floor's got a half-inch drop in it? Where are you at with that? I mean, but
now the only problem with that is it makes me. It's not a problem per se, but it makes me admire the guys that I work for more.
Gotcha. Yeah.
You know what the guys I work for do? They do what they say they're going to do.
Yeah.
The builders, they build what they say they're going to build for the budget they say they're going to do, and they're going to give you what they said they would give you. Nothing more, nothing less. Right. They're just good builders. But hearing these kinds of stories, it almost elevates them to Superman status. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
No, it's like, wow, I don't have to worry about that. Well, really what you're saying is my builders do what they're supposed to do.
Yeah. It's not something that you should have to worry about. It should be
But it just makes me so glad that I was lucky enough to grab these two guys, man, because I'm telling you, guys, I could tell you guys some stories on some houses that I've done outside of, and there's other good builders around. I'm not saying my only two are, but I've worked for some in the past, and I could be like, and I'll go back and I'll tell them. I'm like, man, look at these pictures. I went up there and took pictures. As a matter of fact, it was Trey's house. I got there to put the cabinets in, and I was like, I showed it to one of my builders. I said, look. He's like, what the crap? And I said, yeah. And they're like, oh, no. No. You leave that mess on one of their job sites, buddy. They're gonna let you have it. But anyway, yeah,
Well, I got two.
That's horrible.
I know. I got two stories for you though.
Okay.
So I got two. Actually, I have three stories. Two of them are funny. One of them is a little bit more of a gripe.
Let's do funny, gripe, funny.
Funny. So you want a gripe sandwich?
I want an Oreo where the filling is gripe. I want a double stuffed gripe filled Oreo.
Gotcha. Here it comes.
All right.
Friday. I'm in the shop working. So my current project that I'm working on is an office build. The office build it's a full wall of shelves, fixed shelves. The right-hand side is a Murphy door. So it is a hidden door that will open up to a closet. The customer is in IT work, so this will be basically his server room in his house. So I'm working on this, and I got boxes out the wazoo, right? So for the far right-hand side, to make this work, I have got basically like a filler panel to go against the walls to attach a piece of face frame to. Mm-hmm. So it's 12 inches deep, 8 foot long, 3/4 inch, sandwiched 3/4 inch. So it's of MDF. So it's about a half sheet of MDF in total, but it's only 12 inches wide, doubled up. Mm-hmm. I've got it leaned up against the Murphy door. The Murphy door, and I'm trying to move these boxes around so I could cut some more stuff. It's pretty much first thing Friday morning. I move the Murphy door over. Something hits me in the head hard. I think something fell out of the ceiling. I look around and I realize that it's this filler piece that has come down, and it came down and like tomahawk chalked me. Oh. Dead square in the top of the head, not the flat side, but I mean the narrow edge. 1.5 inch wide side, just right in the head. So once I realized, we're talking, I mean, so about a sheet of MDF is about 90 pounds. Yep. So this is about a half a sheet. So, I mean, so we're 45, 50 pounds, somewhere in there. And so I realized that I'm okay as far as like the shop's not falling in or whatever. I finally realized what it is. And about the time that I realized what it is, it's instant nausea. I mean, instantaneous. I want to throw up. I can feel that my neck has been kind of compacted and my jaws are just killing me. Yeah. Immediately speed dial my wife. I got my earbuds in because I was working. So I immediately speed dial her, and I kind of sit down and put my head down. I was like, I just need you to be on the phone with me in case I pass out. So I'm trying to explain to her what happened to me. And she's like, oh my gosh. She's like, are you okay? She's like, do you need me to drive out? I was like, and so it's kind of starting to dissipate, you know. It's getting better. And I'm like, so I get up, and I'm like, as I get up, I'm like, holy smokes. Like I just want to throw up so bad. I mean, I'm like, yeah, if I don't have a full blown concussion, I have a mild concussion. There's no doubt in my mind at this point in time. So I kind of worked through it, talked to her for a little bit longer, about maybe another 10 minutes. And, so I'm like, all right, I think I'm okay. And she's like, are you sure? I was like, yeah, I'm going to go power the power saw. I can.
Oh, yeah. Let me start ripping something.
I'm good. I was like, no, I'm going to take it easy for another, like 10 minutes or so. But I'm pretty sure I'm not going to pass out or anything at this point in time, And again, my shop it's pretty rural, and
yeah. Hey, how about long time before ambulance gets out there?
Right. And I don't know that I can tell them exactly where it's at. Like, it's not.
Not while you're concussed, you can't.
No, it's just not. It's not an incredibly easy place to find. And I don't. And I thought about this, and I need to put it on the wall because I don't actually know the address. I need to put it like on the wall somewhere. Like we had that at the range, like at the gun range. We had like a medical board. Like for classes and stuff, it was like ABCs of how to call, like how to call 911. Step 1 was don't say that there's been a shooting. because we had SWAT team pull up one time. Because we had somebody get shot. We had somebody get hit with a ricochet, and they called 911 and said that they've been shot.
Mm-hmm.
And guess what they heard in the background?
A bunch of shooting.
Pow, 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 because they're at a gun range. And it was a safety officer. I mean, it's like SWAT, like it was like 15 officers pulled up. It was crazy. So like step one was there's been an accident. Like that was the first, but the address was on this chart in case it was the instructor that had been injured. Like if, say I was, teaching that class and I got incapacitated. Well, Johnny B, guest doesn't know the address to the, to the facility. So the address was actually on there. So I'm going to put the address in the shop because I honestly don't know it, And
put it on the ceiling.
Right. Yeah, that's where I'll be looking. So I was dazed by that. I mean, so I suffered with, I actually ended up coming home, I don't know, about 2:00 Friday. And I took a shower and I laid straight in the bed and passed out for a few hours. Like I took a little bit of medicine. Once I got in the dark, it was like being in heaven. But I mean, I woke up and I still had a little bit of. So we had prom last night. Yeah, so I get to relive prom every year because of my wife being associated with the school. And but that last night was in Nashville, so it was pretty nice. Prom is nothing like it was when we were in high school. I'm telling you.
Nope.
This was probably about a $75,000 prom. Yeah, I mean, just crazy.
Dude, we had it in the gym.
Yeah, paper wrapped in the gym.
Yeah,
like these, and the kids do nothing with it really. They pay their ticket price, and then they show up, and everything's catered. I mean, everything's decorated for them. We decorated. I was like, we were in the old school. You decorated as a junior. You decorated for the senior class. Like that was how you did it, and you worked on it for a week, and it was a blast. Like I didn't like high school a lot, but that was one of the things. Homecoming and prom, like I liked that.
Mm-hmm.
But now these kids, I mean, it's crazy. I mean, this was full catered. I mean, everything. But I bring it up because I was still kind of suffering from the mild concussion last night. The music was just making my head still pound.
Yeah.
But the famous 4-foot marquee letters made their debut appearance.
Man, I got to tell you, dude, you sent me a picture of that. That's amazing. I don't know if I would be able to do that. I'm just going to be honest with you.
They're really easy. You download the instructions off of Etsy, and then you take part of it to a CNC shop, and they cut out the background. But there is a lot of angles, and they give you all the angles, but you do have to cut them and piece them together and then get them painted.
It looks amazing, man.
Yeah, they came out really good. They were a pretty bold statement piece. One of the people who transported one of the letters didn't do a very good job. He damaged one of them. Damaged. If you look really closely on the M in that picture, one of the bulbs is not on.
I was going to say that, but I didn't know if you knew that.
I know it. I worked on it. I tried everything I could to get that light to come on. They didn't put anything underneath it, so it rubbed in the back of the truck, and that socket rubbed against the bed of the truck for an hour to Nashville, and it popped the socket off of the wire, and it damaged the little prong that goes into the wire. And I couldn't there was no fix. I tried everything I could. So we put the bulb back in it, and I kind of taped it back in so that hoping the light would reflect in it and it wouldn't be as noticeable. You kind of got to zoom in. Like you don't really notice it from the start, but I was pretty upset about it that they didn't take better care of it. I mean, they're pretty robust, but I mean, you can't just toss them around, but
yeah. Do you remember I'm going to jump in. Do you remember we used to have to transport our own band equipment.
Oh, yeah.
To the practice field in high school. And I remember because Mr. A, I guess we can call him Mr. A. Nobody's going to know it. So Mr. A was riding with me in that Green Ranger.
Hey, Rick, I know you're listening. I know you're listening. I know you're listening to the podcast. What's that, Rick?
He's dying to listen to this.
Yeah.
But anyway, we were coming around the old elementary school, going down to the practice field. Somewhere there's a sharp curve.
Yep.
Boom. Whole xylophone falls off the back right in the middle of it. Oh, yeah. I thought he was going to kill me, but he didn't. But anyway, that just reminded me of that when you said that they had on the back of the truck and it's school related, and I was like, I don't know.
Who would think something could happen letting high school kids transport stuff around?
Dude, the stuff they let us do back in the day when we were in high school,
right?
Never fly.
I know.
It wouldn't. You mean to tell me I had a teacher come to my house after school one day and get deer meat?
Right.
You know, I was like, dude, that wouldn't happen today. You'd be all over the news.
I passed biology because the more deer eyes you brought in for dissection, the more points you got.
Yeah.
That is a true statement. Was it biology or physiology? I can't remember which one it was, but let me tell you something. I was hitting up everybody I knew for some deer eyeballs because I was not doing good.
We would. All I got to do is bring deer eyes?
I got 20 eyes. Do I pass? I got 20 eyes.
I passed because I brought in enough deer eyeballs.
And I now know what the name of this episode is going to be.
There it is.
And you just, Tommy, write that down. Deer eyeballs.
Deer eyeballs equals good grades or something. Oh, yeah. I was in school talking about the deer I'd shot, and I said, yeah, Mama won't cook it, though. I don't know. He's like, well, how much meat you got? And I was like, I got a whole deer. He's like, well, I'll take some of it. And I was like, cool, just meet me over there. Here's my address, Mr. Teacher. Meet me over after work.
Here you go.
And he comes in, gets about 5 frozen bags of deer meat, and says, all right, see you in the morning. Yeah. Well, that stuff would not fly today. Well, well, it's good that you got those giant marquee letters. Guys, he kept telling me about these letters he was cutting out, and
they're as tall as the DJ stand. They are 4 foot tall. The DJ stand is as tall as these letters.
Yeah, they're huge. I didn't realize they were going to be that big until you showed me one of them. I was like, what the crap?
I still have 7 more to do, but they're coming around the corner.
So I'm assuming we've covered when the police are involved.
Yeah.
All right. And then you just near killed yourself.
Yep.
By the way, Sensei, he's going to tell that story about when he dropped MDF a full sheet on his big toe.
Ooh.
Yeah, with tennis shoes.
That's why I wear boots. I do wear boots. So, unprepared customers. I thought about you during this scenario. I said, boy, this is one thing that you don't have to deal with new construction is unprepared customers. Customers, potential customers, homeowners. If somebody is coming to your house to provide a service, do a little prep work.
Yeah.
All right? If they're going to come and cut open a cabinet to put in a refrigerator, how about you have the cabinet empty when they get there?
Oh.
That would be super swell of you. I'm just saying. Now, look, this is not the worst. This was not the worst scenario I've had. But yeah, so Saturday I arrived and the fridge was buried in a whole bunch of stuff in the garage. So that I had to wait on that to be sorted out. Now, I was not asked to clear the stuff. I have had something like that happen before. She said, give me a minute and I'll take care of that. And I'll get it, I'll get it where you can get to it. But we go to the cabinet and it's still full of stuff. And it, in fairness, 5 to 8 minutes to take this out and to clear it. But still, you knew this has been on the books for weeks. I mean, like 3 weeks. You knew that today was the day. Have the spot clear. I got a kid. He went to school with my oldest daughter, and he's wanting to start a pressure washing company. He's going to come do some pressure washing from me. I said, let me know when you're coming, and I'll make sure all the furniture is moved. I'll make sure the area is prepped for you, so that all you got to do is come and pressure wash. I only want you to do what you're being paid to do. I don't want you moving furniture. I don't want you moving stuff around because one, you have the potential to break something, and then I'm going to be upset. But that's not what I'm paying you to do, and you're not budgeting time for that. You're not budgeting time for having to clear out, the patio furniture.
Mm-hmm.
I literally, I wish I had a picture of it. I showed up at one house to do an install, and I was like, oh, they're still moving in. And then looked around, and I was like, no, they just,
oh no,
they just haven't unpacked from 6 months ago. Let me pick up this bowl of popcorn and get rid of all the popcorn that's all over the floor, so that I don't get blamed for spilling popcorn on the floor. Just do a little courtesy. Act like that you don't think that the people that are coming to do work in your house are just lowlifes, that they deserve some kind of courtesy. I had a bout with a carpet cleaning company. They showed up, and of course it was an online special. They showed up and they tried to change the price and everything, and we ended up basically throwing them out. We're like, we're not. It like tripled. We're like, we're not going to do that. And then talked to the manager. And I was like, but here we are with an entire downstairs that has been vacated of and void of furniture. And he's like, what do you mean? I was like, we prepped for you to come. We prepped for the carpets to clean. There's no beds. There's no nightstands there. These rooms have been emptied. That's what we did on our weekend because you were coming on Monday. We prepped the entire area for you to come and clean our carpets. And then you come here and you flip-flop the price around on us. And now not only do we not have carpets cleaned, we feel like we've been raked over the coals, but now, we've done all this prep work for nothing, And he just, he just didn't get it. And I was like, well, I mean, I guess next time, well, I mean, there won't be a next time for your company, but it's like next time I guess I'll wait and see if they show up and just hold them up. No, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to roll that way, but what do you do?
Yeah. Well, I told a lady I found $100 in her drawer one time. She called me out there to fix a drawer. And it was like one of these side mount guides that were screwing up or something. And I said, yeah, I'll come out there, because I give lifetime warranty on anything metal. So I said, yes, ma'am, I'll come change it out. When's good? Thursday, 2:00. Okay, I'll be there Thursday at 1:50. She's like, all right. And so I get there and I go in. Hey, how you doing? Oh, I'm doing good. Of course.
Do you give a range when you're going to give a time?
Well,
I say between, like I give myself, because I live in a metro area. So, traffic is always a factor. So I always say like, I'll be there I always give myself a 30-minute window. Like I always say between 8 and 8:30. Like I don't want to be like the cable guy and say, between 12 and 4, but I give a little window. Do you?
No, I don't. I'll say 3:00. And if it takes me an hour, 30 minutes to get there, I'll leave 45 minutes in advance. And then if I get held up, it's going to be like a wreck or, something. I'll just tell them, hey, I'm running a couple minutes behind.
Yeah.
But no, I try to go with, but again, I'm not in the metro.
Yeah. I mean,
I know exactly how long it's going to take me to get from point A to point B. But I get there and I said, I'm going to have to pull that drawer and we'll replace both the inner and the outer guide. She's like, all right. Well, I get there, man, and it's just, of course, it's the junk drawer.
Right.
Keys and spoons and, dirt and rat turds and all this crap is in this drawer.
I know why it failed. It's overloaded.
Yeah. And I'm like, what do you want me to do? So anyway, I'm ticked off, man. I'm taking all this crap out of this drawer. There's nowhere to put it. And I said, dang. I said, you missing $100? She said, no. I said, all right, I'll keep it then. She's like, what do you mean? I said, I found $100 bill in this drawer. Right. Did you really? I said, yeah, I found $100 bill. And I'm like, no, I didn't really. I was just, digging through all your personal mail.
Yeah.
I mean, don't let some dude, coming into your house just start randomly going through your mail.
Did you know Blockbuster's still looking for that video from 1989? You got 3 notices in here. They'd like their video back.
It just, but you're right. A lot of people, they don't think about that kind of thing, but I've been there, and I can't give too many of them away because I'm pretty sure a couple of them listen to this. So, get ready, clean the drawer out, take the crap out of your cabinets. If we're going to come do work,
prep for whatever service is coming to see you.
Yep.
Hey, you getting your grass cut tomorrow? Hey, go clean the dog crap up out of the yard.
Pick the sticks up.
Pick up a couple of sticks. Unless you're paying on the pickup sticks. Hey, if you're paying on a pickup stick, leave them all there. Throw a few extra from the neighbor's yard in there too. Get your money's worth out of them. I'm down with that. But if you're not paying them for the pickup sticks, then do a little extra.
Oh, speaking of that,
the pickup sticks last night.
Yeah, pickup. Oh, I tell you what, my daddy better not run over a stick on his lawnmower. He didn't pass that down to me, buddy. That might as well be a bush hog. I don't pick up those sticks, but him, shoot, he better not hear a little. When you hear a little one that goes, he better not even hear that, man. I mean, but so a funny thing is, we're buying this land next to us.
Is that moving forward?
Well, I got a surveyor coming. I think he was supposed to come Thursday or Friday, but I think it rained or, might have rained. So anyway, he's going to get it. He's going to get that done. Got a good price on it. Happy with that. But anyway, I was talking to Mary, who is buying the other piece of land, on the other side of her. And it's the same owner, two different plots of land. I'm buying one, she's buying one, yada, yada. And Mary goes, "I'll be glad when you buy that 2 acres." I said, "Why is that?" She said, "Because I've been cutting your grass the last 3 years I've been here, because it's a vacant, 2 acres,
Yeah.
nothing's on it." She said, "Well, I'll be glad I ain't got to cut that grass no more." So yesterday I spent half the day getting the lawnmower ready to cut. And I went down there and I cut in front of my place. And then I said, "You know what?" I said, "I'm going to go ahead and start cutting this." So I eased down there, and she come out, was kind of looking at me, waving to me through the window. I said, "I guess I'll just start cutting this now,
That's funny.
So, Tommy, while you're listening, you got to start cutting that land next door. Good luck.
Nice. There you go.
Well, yeah, that was funny. I said, "Well, I guess I got to start cutting it now. I can't expect her to keep cutting it." But you had one on here that I don't know. It's on the list.
Uh-oh. Okay.
So I'm assuming you're willing to talk about it, but I got a little nervous because you were texting me a little bit about this. Kind of, you didn't. I don't know what happened.
Uh-oh.
But the uncomfortable consult.
Oh, I forgot it. Yeah, we got time. Yeah, we got time for that. Yeah, I forgot.
Because if it makes you uncomfortable, I want to hear what happened.
So I'm going to preface this with letting you know that there are things that were said that I'm not comfortable repeating. There were things that were said to me that I whispered when I was telling my wife.
Uh-oh. Tommy, plug your ears.
It was so I go to a consult, and I got the text from the client, and I told my wife, I said, this is going to be interesting. She's like, "Why?" And I said, "Well, let me play you the voicemail." And the voicemail, I'm going to read the script. I'm not going to play it. It said, "Travis, this is," and gave me the name, "Monday afternoon," gave me the date, 2 p.m. Central Daylight Time here in the Cool Springs, Franklin area. Want to let you know I'm following up with you a text and a voicemail to let you know that tomorrow evening, and gave me the date at the time, Central Standard Time, is great for me, to stop by my residence and let's kick off this bookcase construction. I've been looking forward to this for a long time. And I will also send you a text message. And I said, this is going to be interesting. I said, because I don't know too many people who leave voicemails who use like Central Daylight Savings Time.
Oddly specific.
And I was like, but maybe they do business in multiple time zones. Cause we're in a pretty metro area. Franklin, Tennessee is, home to a lot of, I can't think of the word right now, but like home offices, for a lot of companies. I was like, so maybe he does a lot of business, across, the time zones, and he's just kind of used to saying that. I was like, now most people would just say Central Time, not Central Daylight Savings Time, but okay.
Now I'm confused. I'm like, what time you want me over there?
Yeah, I'm like, well, I don't know. I mean, are we shifting forward? Are we shifting back? I mean, we're trying to cancel this whole thing. I mean, are we staying on spring? I mean, okay, but. So I get to the house, and he opens the door, and he's like, "Hey, welcome in." He's like, "This is the King Bachelor Pad. Come on in."
Oh.
And like the living room, I walk in the living room, and it's just full of like boxes, like moving boxes, like still packed up. And I'm like, okay, this is a little weird. And I can kind of tell to my left that there's some kind of construction that's happened on this wall where basically a fireplace has been removed. I said, "So is this the area that we're going to work on?" And he said, "Yes, it is." And he starts to tell me about what he wants, and it's bookcases. And so he's going through the whole thing, and he's a very detailed guy. He's got like
obviously
like clipboard and checklist in his hand, which I'm good with. That's that happens from time to time. That's not super unusual, but it's not every day. And so I follow it up with, after he kind of portrays his vision of this area, and I say, "So bookcases up all the way through, no cabinets to bookcases?" He goes, I've got examples for you. Follow me.
Oh, did he do the?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I got a hand motion to come over to what would be a dining room in a normal house.
Why couldn't this be the day I come up there?
Dude, I would have loved to have had some company / assistance. So we go to what would be a normal dining room, and he tells me what he does for a living, which kind of explains the vast computer setup that the cockpit that I have now entered into.
Okay.
Multiple large monitors, and bookcase file on the desktop. And he starts going through it, and as he's going through it, he is showing me a few things, and we're talking, and he stops just kind of in the middle of it, rocks back. He said, I just need you to understand that, books for me are just a gateway to knowledge. Like, I'm not just putting these books out to display, but to show people. I'm not a Brentwood guy that just has money. That wants to just show off his book collection. Like, I want these out so I can refer to them, so I can go back through them. And I'm like, okay, cool, gotcha.
All right.
And then he rocks back and he's like, I don't really have any outlets. I work, and I work in cybersecurity, and basically goes to tell me how the country doesn't know how screwed we are and how we're not paying attention to what a couple of other countries are trying to do to us. And I'm trying to not make this political, but he made a political spin. This was very political. And I try to stay back. Like, I try, because I've had somebody one time before where I thought that I knew where it was going in a political type conversation. So I thought I could join in, and I was wrong.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't go down that road anymore. I nod a lot. I don't really participate. And so he perceived to explain to me I don't know how to give the gravity of what the context of what he was saying. That basically, as long as Americans were getting what they wanted at home, we weren't paying attention to what was going on around us in a biblical sense at home. And I was like, okay, yeah, cool. So doors or just bookshelves? So we kind of go back to the display pictures, and he's going through, and then a little bit of a graphic image is in this file, in this folder.
Okay.
And not like a normal person who would be like, oops, and click next, to get to the next image. Nope, we stopped and talked about her.
Oh.
Yes, there was some conversation about how pretty she was. And I just, I mean, I don't know what to do,
Yeah.
As I'm sitting on a stool
In this random dude's house.
And, and what you don't understand is when he swings his chair around to look at me, like he does a full swing to look at me, like that just turn his head, and I'm in this stool, and I'm crotch at eye level with the way we're set up, and he's got me really close, and I keep trying to move, and his rolling chair keeps moving I'm like, I don't know what's going on. This is bizarre. So I'm trying to wrap this up. And then he's like, yeah, let me. So then we go back to the books. He's like, this is the book I'm reading now currently. And he grabs one off the shelf and brings it over and shows me all the highlighted sections in it, how I study the books. And he goes, I don't know you as a man, but I've studied man, and I know you as a man. And I just want to say, if you knew me as a man, you would know how uncomfortable I am right now.
I was going to say.
And you would let me out of this house.
This whole time, he's getting more comfortable with you.
Yes.
And you're getting less comfortable with him.
Yes. Bingo, bongo, you have hit it on the head. I mean, so I haven't taken any measurements at this point. We've just talked design. Oh. So we go over. I'm like, all right, and he starts talking materials. And he's gone through he's gone to Home Depot and taken pictures of MDF on the shelf and has prices of MDF. And I'm like, well, one, we don't use that MDF. That's medium density. We use all high density if we use MDF. And, trying to explain to him the differences, and then trying to explain to him that we don't use paint. We don't, he's like, well, I'd like this Sherwin-Williams, blah, blah, blah. I was like, we don't use paint on, furniture grade cabinetry. We use cabinet finish, And so we go through that process, which is normal. That's part of my normal spiel. I like to, educate on that process because it's different. It's not a wall. We need to use different materials, because it's not a wall. And there's some other pretty graphic comments that are made about America and the bashing that we're taking by foreign countries.
Oh, okay.
Just some other graphic. I'm just gonna leave it there.
I'm picking up. There's
no way. There is no way for me. I don't think you are. I don't think you can. And I've said a lot in my life. I mean, I was in the Marine Corps and I was a cop, and I have some pretty dark humor, and it takes a lot to make me uncomfortable. And I was just uncomfortable.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna lie.
When I saw that, where you said, dude, I'm getting kind of uncomfortable. I was like, what in the world?
I mean, and so some of the comments I go into the living room and start to measure, and it literally was to the point where I was knelt down, with my laser shooting the ceiling, because we're going floor to ceiling, that I actually turned around and put my back to the corner and faced out.
Oh, wow.
And I kid you not, looking for weapons of opportunity.
Yeah. Like a vase or something.
Yes. Like, do I need to box my way out of this? What is going to happen? And I'm serious. Like, there was just some comments, but he kept trying to be like, it was a weird vibe. It was just such a weird vibe.
It's a single man.
Yes, very much. Yes. Mm-hmm. There's no way no woman's living in this house.
Yeah. Okay.
So I finally get all the measures. Well, as I'm about to wrap up, there's a knock on the door.
Oh.
And he lets this other guy in. And so this guy comes in and he's like, Steve, I don't remember what his name was, and they go through this very excited ritual of greeting each other, high-fiving, the fake, juking and boxing of each other. And I'm like, Hi, Steve. I was almost done. If you'll give me 2 minutes, I'm going to exit.
Oh, man.
And then, but we had to walk Steve through the project, and I mean, it was just, and I do think the guy's a nice guy. I do think he's eccentric, to be honest with you. I did feel uncomfortable. But the conversation made me feel very uncomfortable because it's just not how I professionally interact. Now, if it was a buddy of mine and he would have been talking no problem. Like, if I knew the person, I could have joked around and, but on a professional level, I just don't get down that way. I just don't have those conversations, but it also had these undertones of, man, so my wife was like, are you going to take the job? I was like, well, I kind of seen what he's, it's a good paying job. I'm going to take it.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I ain't that scared. I saw some ways to get out. I saw some, but
aside from the weird movie booby traps or something that he's probably got in the house and, but if you get out of the,
hey, there's a beer fridge. Hey, there's a beer fridge. And it's got beer, it's got Gatorade when you're here. I just want you to be comfortable. Whatever you need while you're here, just you be comfortable. Do you need a beer to go?
Comfortable.
Do you need a beer to go? I said, I'm good. I'm good. Gatorade? I was like, I got water in the truck.
Here, take this Gatorade. I've only taken a little bit out.
Don't worry about the seal being broke. It's fine. I was gonna drink it, and then you knocked on the door, and I didn't get the chance to drink it. It's fine.
That's all it is.
Yeah. But yeah, that was
it's one to remember.
Oh, for sure. And I'm not done.
Oh,
I still got to do the job.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
and he's going to be even more. You're going to get the high five and the fake juking and all that when you go.
Oh, dude, he's super jazzed about this thing. I mean, he is super jazzed. Got a follow-up text about the meeting, how jazzed he is to do this. Mm-hmm. Like, I mean, I don't know if it's just a combination of the excitement and the eccentric behavior, personality. Like, just it all together just seems overwhelming to me. And, and I could be making, and he just maybe just talks this way. He just talks this way normally because he's a bachelor and he doesn't have to filter, his language. So he just, whatever comes to mind comes out. But, whew, it was intense.
I remember the house. I remember where I was. I don't remember who was with me, but we were finishing up an install, and it was a built-in. Of course, it was a whole house, but where I was at was beside the right hand side built-in against the right side of the fireplace.
Okay.
All right. I was scribing that to the wall, and they had already started moving some of their stuff in the house. And when a man of my stature, okay, bends over and kneels down, you may get a little view of the Grand Canyon, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, well, you might not. You don't see the canyon. You're gonna see the forest surrounding the canyon.
That
but
too.
You don't see the canyon.
That too, and that's what I tell them. My kids are like, "Dad, your crack's hanging out," and I'm like, "You can't even see it. It's too hairy." You know what I'm saying? Like, what does that matter? But anyway, I'm down there, and one of them makes a comment.
Are you reading the comments coming through?
No, I'm just saying. One of my kids.
Your son just said it's terrifying.
Oh, is it? Oh no, oh yeah.
He just said it's terrifying.
But anyway, it's I bend over there, whatever, and they make a comment, right? So I'm like, okay. So I'm standing up, pulling my, and I was like, well, ain't nobody got to look. Don't look. If it bothers you, don't look. I'm down here doing my job. And I can't say what the guy said, but for you adults out there, and this is kid safe because they're not going to know what I'm saying. But you ever been in a house and they have like the big porcelain animals? Like the cat, you see the white porcelain cat at the fireplace, okay? Picture one of those, but it was about 3 feet tall. It was porcelain. It was black, and it was a rooster.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. So roosters, they have different names that people call them. Mm-hmm. And so the dude...
They're called cockerels in England.
Yeah. So anyway, the dude says, well, that ain't nothing. Check out the he right beside him. and I looked and I was like, okay, now we're taking it a little... Okay, guys. All right. Yeah. Okay. So I finished up and I got it, but I'll always remember that, because, and like, he was a normal guy. He wasn't like a guy like what you're dealing with.
Gotcha.
But like his wife was standing there, dude, and I'm in there. Yeah. And I was like, that kind of made me feel a little uncomfortable when you said that. Now, if I would have said it,
yes,
or something, to a buddy of mine, that's one thing.
Right.
But it kind of made me a little, I was like, wow, I just never, would imagine he'd have said that.
Well, it's funny to me that you should bring up livestock. Because I have another question for you.
All right.
So you have a hobby farm.
Yep.
It's in very close proximity to your shop.
Yep.
I know you don't have sheep, but you have goats.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever looked up at the door of your shop and had 3 goats staring at you through the door?
I've had one.
One, okay.
Yep. And so I've had a horse. Had a horse come in the shop from over there. So yeah.
Okay. So this is semi-normal if you're in like a hobby farm environment. Because I had 3 sheep come in my shop today.
Now sheep, you got to watch a sheep. You got to watch a sheep. Like the goats. My goats, they're La Manchas. We get rid of their horns when they're born. But they're like lap dogs.
Lamont?
You know what I'm saying? La Mancha.
They're from Sanford and Son? Lamont?
La
Mancha.
don't know where they're from, but they're La Manchas, and so what they are, they're like the pet version of a goat.
Okay.
Super friendly. Well, they would come in the shop and be like, "There's this guy who comes out there every day and sees us. Hey, buddy, what are you doing? Wow,
It's my buddy.
Nice place you got in here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
A sheep, you better not trust a sheep.
Well, so I've kind of made friends. So I will go out on breaks. Like if I get a little break and the weather's nice, I'll walk out and I will try to pet the sheep. And it's taken me until now, so December, so 4 months to get to the point where I can pet this one mama. The baby won't come anywhere near me, but I can pet one mama. And but I can like two taps. Like two taps and she's done. Like she's like, I'll let you touch me. You're done. And but I pull into the shop like down the drive this morning and there's that mama and her baby pretty close to the road. And I don't know anything about sheep. Let me preface this by I don't know anything about sheep except for that you shave them and you get the
Fleece.
Not fur, but a fleece. Okay. Hair.
Yeah.
Whatever. And they're very great in lamb chop form. I like them like that.
Ooh, they are.
But so I'm like, man, but I do know that the owner, the guy that I rent the space from, told me like he's like if they get out, he's like it can be pretty hard to get them back in. They'll go. I was like, oh, so I pull in. I'm like, oh, they're not in. Like I should be a good person and help get them in. So
like
I get
shepherd.
So I get the two, and and I do a little bit of I've moved cattle, and I'm not a country boy, but I'm not completely naive. Like I've moved some animals, so like I kind of got them herded back. And I got them in the pen, and I texted him. I said, hey, you had two out. I got them back in, but I don't know where they're getting out at. Like I looked, and I couldn't figure out where they got out at. And he didn't respond, so I go in the shop, and I start working, and it's kind of a nice day. So I left the bay door. I left it, about man-size width open, so that I could get a little sunshine, a little cool breeze throwing through. And I've had, this is a different story, but I've had a problem with a couple of people showing up and walking in my shop lately.
Oh.
That were not supposed to be there. And all of a sudden, as I'm cutting, I kind of see something out of the corner of my eye, and I look real quick because I think it's happening again. And there are three faces looking at me through the shop door, and it's the mom of the baby, and they've picked up a third one. They've showed a third one how to leave.
You got a buddy system now.
I'm like, okay, and the third one is super skittish. Like I can't get anywhere near her. Yeah. It's a her, and I can't get anywhere near her usually, and that's from the fence. Like if I come up to the fence, she leaves. I was like, oh my god! So I come out and I'm trying to get them, and I go over to the fence and I kind of open the spot that I'd let them in before, and I've just about got them going in the direction I want to. Well, here come the three that are still in the pen.
Oh no.
And they've seen the hole. And I'm like, nope. So I run over there and I push them back. Well, when I do that, I scare the three that are out so bad I've lost their trust. They're gone. They're off to the races. So I had to pull the fence back closed again, pin it shut. And here we are. So we make 3 full trips around my barn, around the shop, trying to get them, and I'm getting closer each time. They're letting me get a little closer, And but I can't do it. I can't get that open because when I open it again, the 3 that are in are trying to come out again. I was like, so I text the guys like, look, I tried. They're out. You need to show up. There's nothing I can do. And he's like, man, they won't go real far. He's like, I'm not too far away. Don't overly sweat it. Thank you. He's like, thank you. I was like, I tried, Well, it's about 10 minutes later, I had to go get something out of the trailer. And I walk out, and there's all 3 of them, like, right there at the shop door eating, and they look at me, and I was like, hey, girls, how are y'all? Because I don't want to spook them and make them run, because that's just going to make it harder for him to, to herd them back up. But I was like, oh, my God, this life on a hobby farm is, they're not even mine. Like, I don't even really care. I'm just trying to be nice guy. I don't want to see this guy's.
The good thing about sheep, goats, things of that, animals of that nature. Ooh. Excuse me.
Take a moment.
Take a sip. Animals of that nature, they don't go, they get out, they want to be outside, and they get out of the fence and they're like, now what do we do? You know, I don't know where you want to go. I don't know. I'm kind of scared. And like our goats to get out, and they won't go very far. Like you're not going to see them 3 houses down. They're going to go out 5 feet away from the fence. They're going to freak out, and they're not going to go, a whole lot further than that. Sheep are about the same way. If they can see the place a lot.
Well, I only got worried that the other 3 were going to join them, and now as a pack, we felt more brave to go. Like I was like, well, I don't feel like they'll leave those 3 very far. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because when they were in the other fence, the baby would get out because it fit through the fence, and I was like, I'm not gonna bother him and tell him the baby's out because it's not gonna go. It was still on the mom, so I was like, it's not gonna go far.
Yeah,
like it was still nursing. I was like, it's not gonna whatever it is, it's not gonna lead the mom too far. So I never worried about it. But I was like, now if these other 3 get out and they team up, I don't know. I mean, it might be like cross country adventures over here.
Yeah.
What's that movie where the dogs go like homeward bound or whatever?
Yeah, homebound, something like that. Yep.
But yeah, that was today. I mean, that was interesting. I was like, I'm not going to get anything done at the shop chasing these sheep around all day.
I guess the females really aren't that bad about it, but man, a male sheep. But I'm telling you, they'll get you.
Really?
They'll get you, man. Oh yeah.
Well, there's no males. They're all females out there.
Yeah, you let your head down. Which, by the way, Trey and I are so dorky that we do this thing where he tests me on what you call different breeds and different age groups of different animals. Right? So if you take, just for a goat, right, you got a kid, you got a buckling, a doeling, a buck, a doe, a wether, right? All the same animal.
What's a wether?
Yeah. So it's just, a wether is a castrated male goat. All right? That's what I'm saying.
I feel like we're talking about genders now. I mean,
yeah, well, hey, I got news for you, buddy. With a goat, ain't but 2.
This is too many terms.
So now take that and apply it to fox and rabbit and goose and whatever. And man,
there's a castrated form of a goose.
No, I'm just saying there's different names for different genders of goose, different sexes of goose, different age. Cows are the same way. Well, you got heifers and you got cows and you got bulls, you got steers, right? But Trey will look up like lizards. He's like, what is a male lizard?
All right.
Or
so anybody who's listening, we're taking applications for a girlfriend for Trey because apparently he needs something else to occupy his time.
Well, he don't know them either. He Googles them. So it's just something.
He still needs something to occupy his time. If you would like to apply for this position, offcuts at styleboyz.com.
Hey, I can
picture
tell you.
And just just 1 sentence bio. He doesn't need much apparently.
Yeah, no, he don't. He's not.
You know what? Keep the picture. We don't need the picture. Just a 1 sentence bio. We'll see how it goes.
It must be from Birmingham. That's an inside joke. Trey's going to get that. Trey's going to get that one. That's for you, buddy. That's a zinger for you. But anyway, yeah. So
I drew a line on my tongue when
you did
be a smart aleck. Hey, Tommy, there's a beat for you.
Yeah.
I was being a smart aleck like I was, licking my pen, and I literally did.
You did. Now your tongue's
I can
blue.
taste it.
I thought you got it pierced or something.
Oh yeah.
The way it looked.
Kim, I'm coming to you. I got my tongue pierced.
For all you non-farm people, man, don't jump in it and think you're going to have it. Because I'm telling you, man, it's something else. Running a hobby farm is exciting. Tammy, all right.
We got a friend of ours that just bought 25 acres. They think they know what they're doing. I'm like, you don't understand what you're doing on land.
No.
Well, it's all woods. I was like, woods require maintenance. Have you seen what happens in California when you don't maintain woods? They burn.
Yep. So I'm not going to give you my wife's age on the podcast, but let's say between the ages of 30 and 40, okay? Right. How many women do you know right now that can look at a goat in labor and say something's not right. I got to go in, sort the kids out inside of the goat where they need to be in the correct orientation, and get 2 of them out. Women between 30 and 40 on a goat. How many can you name?
I'm going to go with 1.
Listen, going to go 1. If you want to run a hobby farm, that's kind of things we would have lost that doe and her 2 kids if Tammy had not have been here and done what she done. How she does it, it is amazing to me.
Look, I ain't sticking my hand up nothing to save nothing. I'm just telling you.
Oh yeah.
I feel like that's natural selection. If you can't make it happen, God didn't want it to happen, and you don't need me to intervene.
Well, it's a money thing for us. We had to. She was watching the old bank account.
I ain't sticking my hand up nothing to save nothing.
You gonna let that dollar bill die, ain't you?
Just gotta go. Gotta go. Yep.
But yeah, a hobby. That's what you. And there's stuff around here that's happened. But yeah. You better be ready if you want to get any kind of outdoor livestock animal. You better get ready, buddy, because they're going to they'll test you.
Well, I just never know what's going to happen. So apparently, I've offended the rooster to the point where he doesn't come around anymore. I finally established enough dominance with him. He doesn't come to the shop anymore.
Well, with a rooster, you put them on their back and hold them down like on their belly. You hold him down. Like if you have one that chases you and kicks you, whatever, catch him, put him on his back, and just hold him down until he's still, and he'll never chase you again.
I just smacked him with a board, and he ain't come back since.
That works.
That
works too.
And told him I look forward to eating him. I said, "You look delicious." Right after I hit him with a piece of plywood.
Well, after 6 months, a rooster ain't no good. So eat it with a grain of salt or 5 grains of salt.
He'd probably take a whole shaker.
You're like, what is this?
What do you got coming up next week?
Next week,
what do we got to look forward to?
Next week is the glass man's time to shine. He got a display out, by the way.
Okay.
And he's almost got the second one done. I'm still kind of helping him a little bit. I try to stay uninvolved.
Yeah.
And then he's like, Mitch, I think I messed this up. I went, one step ahead of myself, whatever. So he's almost got the second one done. That's
called self-awareness. That's a very good thing for somebody to have.
It is. Right. And I told him, I said, write down what you're supposed to do, but also write down what you're not supposed to do and refer to that list before you start on another one, so you don't repeat the same mistakes. But there's a lot goes into one of those displays. I mean, it's hexagons. You got posts and dowels and wheels and plywood supports, and it's a whole big thing. But anyway, he got another one of those done. But his paint's here. Remember, I went and got it Friday.
Yeah.
He used up the last bit of primer that we had. I looked back there, and it wasn't quite a full coat. So he's going to come in Monday morning. He's going to start painting. We're going to be building drawers. And so hopefully end of the week we'll have...
Mom and baby are doing good with him? How everybody okay there?
Yep. He's learning. He is learning what it's like to be somebody's daddy.
Well, that first time of being a daddy that's different. It is different.
Yeah, he is learning what all it takes to be an involved parent. So, but yeah, they're loving it. I mean,
nice.
He'll come in sometimes. I don't tell my guys what time they have to be here. They don't have a start time.
Right. This is what you need to do.
Get it done. Yep. I'm like, hey, paint's here. He's like, okay, cool. He'll come in Monday whenever he gets ready and start painting. Understand, all you people listening, he is not a W-2 employee. He is a contractor that contracts paint for me. So if I want to keep him as a 1099 or as a contractor, I can't tell him what time he's required to be here every day.
All you can do is pretty much give him a deadline. This is what I need, and this is what I need it by.
Yep.
If now I can tell him that, then I can hire somebody else.
That's right.
I can hire another contractor.
Just hire another contractor. But it's his time to shine. He's got plenty of paint. He's going to go back there and make those gorgeous as usual. Trey and I will be making drawers and other stuff to go along, edge banding shelves, things like that. That'll be next week. I'm going to finish up a stained wood vanity. And by the way, the last job had 4 overhead cabinets over the toilets.
Oh.
So never done that. And that job had 4 of them, 3 or 4 of them. And the next job, the job I'm about to start, little tiny, just a vanity in that one cabinet, it's going to have one. So funny how that kind of stuff comes in waves.
It's funny how it connects, yeah.
But yeah, we'll be doing that next week. It's going to be I got a couple to go measure next week. A big house. It's got a rotunda in it.
Ooh.
Like one of those, I guess that's what it's called. It's like a castle window. It's like a big round, window sticking out the front. First question I asked the builder, I said, is there cabinets going in there? He said, nope. I said, okay, I'll do it.
Hey, on a side note, I'll tell you something you need to look up. I saw it yesterday. It's the first time I've seen it. Kid Rock has built a mock White House mansion.
Yep,
in
I saw
Nashville.
it. I saw it.
If you hadn't seen that, go look it up.
It is crazy, man.
Wow. That guy.
He also shot a bunch of beer cans, too.
Didn't he? Kind of made a statement there.
Oh, y'all want to know how I feel about it? Here you go.
And then boldly told you how he felt about it.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. More
Just in case the full auto didn't do enough explaining, he used his words.
Well, yeah, we'll be doing that next week. Hopefully, the bulldozer will be here next week. We have officially closed on the construction loan, and we have opened the checking account. So basically how that works is the builder says, hey, I did all this, I need money. He gives me invoices, I give it to the bank puts the money in the checking account, and then I write the builder a check for it. So I don't know how any of this works.
It's what people call taking a draw.
Yep.
It's referred to as a draw.
Yep, it's a draw. So the money's not sitting in the account. They put the money in there as we need it, and then we take it out as we need it.
So people can't run off with the money.
Yep.
They can only run off with a little bit of it.
And so I had a little fun with the lady at the bank, and I said, well, let's see, 7.5% interest probably whenever we close on this long-term loan. You guys are going to make $80,000 off of me or whatever the number is. I said, man, well, if I could get like a coffee cup or something, I'd at least feel, a little bit better about it. So I got a hat and a green insulated cup out of the deal. So I said, yeah.
Got something.
That sounds pretty good. So if you want a Brantley Bank and Trust hat, I will send you one.
I'll let you hold on to that one just in case.
It is green. It's leprechaun green. Yep. So anyway, we got all that stuff done. Bulldozers are supposed to be here next week. I'm hoping.
Good.
Start on the driveway. We got water lines going in. The neighbor, I finally saw him, and I asked him if he would mind if we walked through his land. At his bottom, there's a big creek. And he said, man, nobody's back there. Nobody hunts. Nobody fishes back there. You take your daughter back there, let her fish all she wants to go. So we went down there today. We learned a few lessons. I am too old to jump creeks. I learned that lesson. Too old, too fat, too out of shape. Knees are way too gone.
Riley, please videotape your dad next time he tries to jump a creek. Please.
So we got back, and it was just wet. It's 100 acres of wet. And we had an island hop, across all these little bitty branches. So the reason I was late was we were going to run to the local store and get snake boots because we saw snakes down there. We saw mud. My shoes are ruined now, my tennis shoes. So I said, I really need waterproof, snake-proof boots, her and I, if we're going to come down here. And that place didn't have any.
Oh.
So that's when I texted you. I said, well, I'm going to be a little bit late. I got to run. I thought I was going to have time to run in there and come back. But went to another place, and we got, her and I got a pair of, hey, how about they not as cheap as you think they are?
No, protection, they put that in the protection category, and you got to pay for it.
If it saves me from getting, bit by water moccasin, then
it's worth every penny.
So, yeah, we went and done that today, so she's excited about that. We're going to go down there and take the kids and hang out a little bit. So, yeah, hopefully next week we're going to get some more dirt. We're supposed to be meeting with the builder. He's going to go over the house pad with the bulldozer man and get all that stuff straightened out. So,
I got a splinter.
We'll see how everything. How'd you get a splinter? We're not even doing anything.
I guess it's surfaced, like, during this, while we've been sitting here. Like, I guess I moved around enough that it's come up. You know what I mean?
It's in your blood, man.
Well, I believe that. It hurts. It's amazing how something so small can hurt.
Oh, a splinter?
Yeah.
You talking about one of them old birch plywood
Oh,
splinters,
birch
buddy?
well, maple plywood, but
Same thing.
Same thing. Probably got coronavirus now. It's some kind of imported flu.
Yep. You got like it's got to be another animal though.
Yeah, a monkey virus. No, we've already had monkey
Well,
virus.
that monkey and bat and swine.
I got giraffe virus. My neck's gonna stretch out. And I have an 8-foot tall neck.
What are you doing next week?
Man, we got that install coming. I got a install on Tuesday. Little TV console that's the one with the Monkey Pod live edge top on it. That one's Tuesday. Got this office install on Friday. Got to make a run to Chattanooga on the weekend. Pack my daughter up. It's her last week of school. Freshman year is over.
Okay.
Yeah, got to pack her up and move some of her stuff over to my parents, and then she'll be home for the summer. And then this house that's got the office that I'm doing has 3 more rooms, so bang out those 3 rooms and then start on trophy case for the school.
So boy, it's a good feeling to have work, ain't it?
Man, when you're in the gig industry, it's nice to have something in the hopper.
Yep.
That is for sure. But yeah, I mean, feel blessed, feel so fortunate to have it. So, I was talking to, we actually, this last week, the guy that built the gun range that I first worked for in Nashville actually passed away very unexpectedly, and caused me to kind of connect with some of those guys from back in the day, and and circle around, and you just in those conversations was just how you got to be so appreciative of of today, especially when it was a very unexpected passing.
Yeah.
And just how fortunate you feel to have the things that we have, and just, but he was like, but one of the guys asked me what I was doing, and I told him I had a cabinet business, and he's like, you liking it? And I said, man, I couldn't imagine doing anything else at this point. I'm just happy to be in the shop every day, and just happy to have it. If I could buy one more table saw, I'm on the market. I'm looking for a fourth.
Here we go.
Because I've got to do this blade change thing, and I'm not down with it. So I am looking for one more table saw that will put my rip blade in one, cross cut in the other, and then my 2 dados. Hey, you know what'll mess up your dado plan? All of a sudden start using some 1/2-inch stuff. Then you got to change your.
Yeah.
I had this whole dado thing worked out. Now I had to use some 1/2-inch on that Murphy door just to lighten it a little bit.
Yeah.
I was like, now I got to change the dado stack on this one, even though I'd said I wasn't going to do it, and I've got a brand new dust collector. Well, not a brand new to me. I got a new dust collector. So next week I really need to talk to you about some shop efficiency and some layout things, because I'm really at a loss as to where to put this dust collector to best work with the shop and the layouts. I'm really beating my head against it. And then I've got some power issues. Not really power issues, but I've got to run some 240, and I don't really know a whole lot about electrics. That's one time I really wish you were closer. Now the guy that I rent the shop from, he's like, I'll run whatever for you. You just need to get the stuff. And I'm like, would you just get the stuff and just bill me? Because I don't really know what to get. I don't really know what I need, but I don't know where I'm going to put things to know how much wire I need. So it's kind of like this compounding problem that I'm trying to work through. But I'm afraid if I don't, I'm at the point where I really need to work some efficiencies, and I've got a corner of the shop I need to clean out. That needs to happen this week. And I've got a plywood rack that I need to rebuild this week too, as part of this whole efficiency plan. So lots going on in the shop, and just plowing through it. And hey, summer's here.
Yep.
We're all trying to figure out if our plants are going to come back from the big freeze we had this year. It doesn't look like it. It looks like I've lost like 7 trees. That's going to be cheap, and but summer's here. It's fast. I mean, 2023 is going to be over. Jiminy Cricket.
Yeah. This is the time of year where you go out and it's 72. It's not hot, but you just sweat.
Yeah.
Down here in the deep south, it's the humidity, man. You just boom. And you're like, it's not even hot.
How about all them sweating kids at prom made that building humid?
Oh yeah.
One little girl thought it was very funny that I said, "Hey, all you sweating youngins have made it humid in here." And she's like, "My hair's growing. It's so humid in here." I was like, "It's terrible." I mean, a couple of them walked by and they were just drenched. I mean, they were having the time of their life, though. I mean, they were out there dancing and cutting it up, and boy, it made me feel old. It really made me feel old being
the the last prom I went to, I took a foreign exchange student to the prom in a 78 El Camino.
Didn't you?
How's that for a prom story?
Man.
But
last prom I went to, I wasn't technically allowed to be there.
Yeah, because you went after you graduated.
No.
Oh, you didn't?
I wasn't allowed to go to senior prom.
Oh, okay.
But Kim had to go take pictures for the prom for the school newspaper.
Yeah.
And I drove her right up to the front door. I mean, under the awning to the front door.
You're so bad, Travis.
I was. And the principal, do you know Mr. Yancey's son actually, he teaches up here at Kim's school?
Oh, does he really?
How about that for small world? Yeah.
I ain't lying.
Yeah, but Mr. Yancey walked up to the door and he's like, Travis, are we going to have any problems tonight? And he was like one of the people that I really respected. And I was like, no, sir, I'm not getting out of the truck. And he's like, okay. Sounds good. And I just sat there and just for about an hour. And she was in there taking pictures because I was banned from prom. I wasn't allowed to go, and she didn't go because I couldn't go. Yeah. Then that was my senior year.
Yeah.
So I was junior year, your sophomore year, her sophomore year,
you were gone.
My junior year, I went. But then, her senior year, I was gone. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
Old prom, good old prom. Riley went, and Riley said, Daddy, I never want to go to one of those again. I said, tenfold,
really?
Get in the car, let's go. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's a good time.
I'll send you a picture of her today when we were down at the creek, and then I'll send you a picture of her on prom day.
Yeah.
And you tell me if you think it's the same person.
Well, I'm still not so sure that she's your kid because she's really pretty to be related.
I don't know where she got it from. She didn't get it from me.
Yeah, I mean, she definitely got a lot of Tammy in her, that's for sure. But she's
a beautiful little girl,
blast, and she was a blast to talk to and hang out with at Easter. She was a lot of fun. It was so good to sit down with everybody and have that time. I really enjoyed it.
Yep.
Sorry, my kids weren't social. They're just.
Well, it turned out one of them more social than you thought.
Yeah, we need to turn that faucet off, but we'll see. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
I'm like, what do you think y'all are doing?
Yeah, that's what I said today.
I'm like, I don't know. I feel pretty confident with it. I mean, it's a 4-hour away relationship. I'm like, what are y'all doing? I think it's just friends right now. I think they're just, kind of talking about general things in life, but. I was like, what? I did get a weird text message yesterday. I said, Dad, what do you think about this pair of boots? Like, now we haven't looked at boots in I don't know how long since she was riding horses. And I was like, are we picking out Tommy boots? Tommy, are we picking out you boots or something? What's going on here? She was in the women's section looking at them. I was like, I've never heard of this brand, so I don't know anything about these. I was like, why? She's just wondering. I was like, what are you looking for boots to go walk around with the goats this summer or something? Like, what's going on here?
Nah. She comes down here, I'm putting her to work. She's going to be putting face frames together and sanding and all kind of stuff.
Hey, so. Once you get her awake, she will work. But getting her awake, boy, that's I kind of had a slow morning this morning, because it was Sunday, but I did have to go to the shop, and she was killing the dog that she wouldn't get up. I mean, he just kept going to her door and looking, and going to the door and looking. I was like, dude, she's not getting up right. I even let him in. And he went and tried to wake her up, and he come back out like sad puppy. Like he's like, nah, she won't play.
Well, good deal, man. That's covered it. Let's have another good week.
I'm looking for a quieter week after this last one. I'm just letting you know. I'm hoping you can carry the load next week, and I ain't got a whole lot to say because
you've been through it this week.
This was different. I mean, not bad, but different.
Yep. We'll see what happens. It's every day is an adventure with me, so.
Oh, I love it.
We'll see what happens. We'll come back with 10 of these.
All of them. Go out there, start a project, get after it. Whatever you've been thinking about doing. You want to start a new stencil business? Do it. You want to, start a little welding business? Give it a shot. You want to sell some trinkets, online, get on Etsy and, start fulfilling your market. Find some niche in your area and go for it. Make yourself happy.
Yeah. And if you fail, find something else that works. Do it.
be smart. Plan it out where if you fail, you don't fall real hard on your face. But you still want to fall, because if you don't fall, you won't learn anything. You won't learn what to do different.
Whoever you're working for now started their own business.
It's true.
So, unless you work for the military or the government, wherever else you work, somebody got up one day and said, I think I'm going to start this, and look at where they're at.
Well, even if you're in the military, there was a group of militiamen that started at some point in time that started that branch.
Yeah.
It's kind of how it started. But
yeah.
So, kind of in honor of my mentor, and I don't say mentor, but friend, that passed from the Army. One of his big phrases was, "Don't think of reasons why not to do something. Think of reasons to do it."
Yep.
That was one of his big sayings. It's really easy to come up with the reasons why not to do something. Come up with the reasons why to do something, and go after it and get something done.
Get after it, Tommy. Wake up.
Help. You got some editing to do now.
He said, I'm up.
He beeped. He said, I'm up. I promise. All right, guys. We'll go after it. Thank you so much for participating. Thanks for listening. We hope he didn't kill you. It's a little bit longer on this one, and we appreciate you staying with us. Oh, we almost forgot. What's the word of the day?
Snake boot.
Snake boot. Got it. I like
there
it.
It is.
Locked it in.
See how fast that was? I should have said deer eyes.
Ooh.
Man.
We'll take either one. Bonus points if you send us both.
Ooh, yeah. Bonus.
Yeah. You know what? They'll be gone by then.
Yeah, but I almost said something. I was like, ain't my business. I ain't going to get out there.
I almost said I'll send you something, but they'll be long gone by the time this airs. But we'll get some more in, and we'll do some giveaways. But
Thomas sent me a text message that says snake boot and deer eyes. Thomas, you don't count.
No,
you're listening live. It don't count.
Good try, kid. I like the effort, though. We'll buy you a lollipop.
There you go. All right,
where's
buddy.
My extra credit? He said, "Where's my extra credit?"
Riley says snake boot. You guys. All right.
Okay. How is she listening? What's she got, an ear pod in with him?
She's in there with Tommy, I bet you.
Oh, Lord. All right. Well, thanks for listening, man. Hey, tell the family we said, hey, be safe, and we appreciate you, and look forward to seeing everybody come back.
Yes, sir. We'll see you in a week, buddy. Y'all be careful.
All right. Thanks for coming in.
See ya.